Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's at 5:30, February 5th, a regular Board of Selectmen meeting. And in attendance, we have a lot of special guests today, as well as our three selectmen, Jim Lampos, Martha Shoemaker, and Jude Reed. And we are here, and we are excited because we are trying out Teams today. We are also using our free conference calling, but we are moving over to Teams, hopefully. So this is a trial run. So starting with, to start today, we're welcoming some special guests to the town of Old Lyme. And we want to welcome our new refugee resettlement family. And Carol Carlson is here. Carol, I'd love to have you come up and tell us a little bit about the program, and then we'll do we'll invite and introduce the family.
Where would you like?
Jim, can we let Carol just borrow your mic for a minute? Carol, if you just want to sit right here. If you want to just sit here, the mic will pick you up.
Well, I'm Carol Carlson. I'm the co-chairman of the Old Lyme Refugee Resettlement Committee. As many of you probably know, this is our fifth family that we've welcomed into the Old Lyme area. The committee was originally formed by the Congregational Church, the Catholic Church, and the Episcopal Church in Old Lyme, but we've broadened. We draw many of our volunteers from the shoreline communities, and we are a self-sufficient committee operating here in town. The town has been extremely generous to us in so many ways that it's hard for us to actually list them all. But it's great to be here, and our family is extremely appreciative of the welcome they've received, including the wonderful police department welcome, which was, I think, a great thing for them. And now they're getting a little bit of a civics lesson as we see what local governance looks like. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. The family consists of Mahmoud Al-Kalawi, his wife, Fadia Al-Hassan, and their three children, Mohammed, Ahmed, and Ibrahim. And all three boys go to Lyme Consolidated. They're very happy students there, so that's one of our big successes is the school.
Excellent.
How long have they been here? How long have they been here?
They've been here for 2 months. They left Syria in 2012. Were refugees in Lebanon for 11 years, waiting for the process to be completed to bring them in. And they don't get much notice, and neither do we. All of a sudden, they're here, and we adjust. So we're in the early phases of adjustment.
Okay. So have you had a chance to meet them?
No, I haven't.
Come on up. Jim and I sort of quickly shook hands.
Oh, cool.
So we'll introduce really quickly. Howard and Howard.
Nice to see you, Mom. Nice to meet you. Welcome.
He's in second grade. Well, so he started first and second grade.
Wow.
Yeah. Is that a wonderful beginning?
So I'm sure those of you in the audience who are residents of Old Lyme would love to give a warm welcome to our community. Come on up, we're going to take a picture. Okay? Come on up here. You're going to take a picture. You can see right here in the center, Fadia.
You do it.
Okay. Perfect. You're famous. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Nice to meet you.
you. Welcome. Welcome. All right, so they're going to exit this point, and then we also, the second thing on our agenda is that, well, here, now you're gone. So the second thing on our agenda today is that we are celebrating the retirement of Mickey Frazier, and Mickey has been the assistant technician in the tax assessor's office for 31 years. And Mickey has done a wonderful job serving the residents of this town. Come on. She's answered their questions, she knows their properties left and right, and now she is finally taking a little tiny bit of time for herself. And so we have this beautiful bouquet of flowers for you.
Nikki, I think it's bigger than you
Yes,
are.
that's an apartment.
Yes, exactly.
You can take these.
Thank you.
Jude and Jim come up, we'll take a picture. We also, this is from all of your coworkers in town hall. There's a number of gifts in here, so don't drop it, because some things are breakable.
Okay, all right.
So, we're gonna,
Thank you.
I'm gonna take a left.
Okay, Jim, please in a little bit.
Sunflower. All right.
Thank
So,
you.
very
Have fun.
much. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yep, we wish.
I will miss it too.
Luckily, she's right down the street. Hey, want to say anything, Minnie?
Thank you very much. No, honestly, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it. And on to the next chapter.
Okay. So moving on to our information items, communications, and correspondence. A couple of things that I'll make note of. As many of you may know, we have had some very oversized stop signs that have been placed on Town Woods Road and also on Smith Neck and Mile Creek at that intersection at 156. And there have been a lot of concerns from residents. So I did speak to the Department of Transportation, and they are going to come and reduce the number of signs at those intersections. We should be left with just one giant stop sign in the appropriate side of the road, right or left, and that's a good thing. We also talked to the Department of Transportation about a traffic study for 156 near Smith Neck and Mile Creek and the Nearly New Shop, and that was requested by some residents. One of their biggest concerns is that the crosswalk sort of does not really go across the street, and it was requested at a time when the road may have had a different type of curvature. Don't ask me, but that's what the DOT said. So they are going to call me when they're coming to look at it, and they said it would probably be within 2 to 3 weeks, and I'll let you know when I talk to them.
I would like to go to that as
Okay.
well. Thank you.
Yeah, you live, you know, coming in and out. I will also be at the COST conference on Thursday. That's the Coalition of Small Towns, and I will be up in at AquaTurf. And Anita will also be going as the finance director to attend some conferences and workshops. So, also from communication-wise, I did hear from Olaf Bertram Nothnagel regarding the amount of salt that we may be using on our streets and his concerns where they may go, those may drain into the 3 Mile River. I will be chatting with Ed about this to see how we handle that going forward. I also had some email from Elizabeth to see about getting a crosswalk installed across 156 at Sea Spray Road. That will be something I will be in contact with the police department. We've also had some, that's a different one. We've also had some concerns down in the White Sands Beach about some of the flooding. Harry Gow wrote to us. There's some pictures, but they're a little hard to see, but flooding down as a result of some marsh land overflow down on White Sands Beach. That was originally done. The marshland was cleaned out by DEEP, but the piping was evidently installed or helped to be installed by the town of Old Lyme.
How long ago? Do we know?
I haven't talked to DEEP. Harry sent me another email today that said, I'm sorry, I don't have the most updated one. He did have some information on who it was at DEEP that had done it, had done the original work, and he had talked to him a while back. But I will have that, and we will try to work down. Ed went down twice last week to look at it. Actually, a whole piece of this pipe actually dislodged and really needs to...
become a problem.
Yes, and they're experiencing some issues from it. So that was another situation, and that is that.
Martha, can I ask a quick question about
Yep.
salt? 3 Mile River at 156 or at Mile Creek, or exactly is the concern there?
Hold on one sec. It says, he said there are many problematic locations where road runoff is sent directly into the fragile inland wetlands and drinking water aquifers. A prime example is where Hatchett's Hill Road drains directly into the fire pond that the 3 Mile River has been obliged to form. And he's got some links here for road salt. I can
Thank you.
give you a copy of this if you'd like to check out the links that he's given you. I'm happy to do that for you. We also received a resignation from one of our part-time police officers, Kirshen Bissett, and he resigned as effective January 1st of 2024. I just received a copy of his letter. So that is that. And, okay. So, moving on. We have public comment. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to provide public comment this evening?
I'd like to.
Okay, hold on one second, and I'll do the phone people. I'm going to do the people in the audience first, and then I'll turn to the phone. Okay? You can come up here, please, so that we can, if you're speaking to the microphone, it helps us on the recording.
Well, I read in the day that the Affordable Housing Committee and the Board of Selectmen had been discussing the properties on Grandview and Kimmick for affordable housing. And it seemed like there was a lot of questions that they still had, and I know I might be able to answer some of them. There were questions about how frequently that drainage runs through the property on Kimmick specifically. So if that's something the Board of Selectmen would like to talk about, or if that commission wants to talk about, I'd be happy. I believe you have my contact info.
Yeah. Can you state your name and address again, just for the record, so that Suzanne has it?
Mike Hansen, and it's 44 Grandview Ave.
Okay. The affordable housing has not come to us about that property as of yet.
Okay.
So if you would like to reach out to Michael Foliano, who's the chair of affordable housing, I'm sure he'd be delighted to talk to you.
All right. Yep.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank
actually, while we're still on that subject, so I talked to some of my neighbors about it, and they had raised the concern that if the town were to move forward with affordable housing, which I'm in support of, where does the discussion stand with the road being a town road versus non-town road?
We
haven't got to talk about that. Okay.
Nothing yet.
So I have nothing to report on.
Are there any other members of the public in the audience that would like to share public comment with us today? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to go to those people on the phone, not Teams, but the phone. So is there anyone on the phone that would like to share public comment?
Yes, I would.
I recognize the voice.
Carolyn Miranda,
Carolyn Miranda, Biscayne Road.
Biscayne Boulevard, that's right.
Sorry. Go ahead, Carolyn.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you for your efforts in getting the flooding underneath the Cross Lane Railroad underpass resolved. That's much appreciated. And then my other comments and concerns are, I heard you talking about DOT going to do a study on 156 down near Hallmark. However, I'm wondering what happened to the concerns we've had for a long time between Hawks Nest Road and the police station concerning consistently speeding, the need for probably some more caution signs and or slow down signs, a crosswalk across 156 that goes to Cross Lane so that we can access the sidewalk on the other side of the road. Do you have any update on those issues?
Carolyn, due to public comment, I can't talk, but at the end of the meeting under general discussion, I can make some comments to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Anything else? Is there anyone else on the phone that would like to speak? Okay, hearing none there, is there anyone from Teams on the Teams line that would like to speak? I see Sheila and Joe are both guests. Would either of you like to share public comment? There's really no way to let us know if they do, Tom, if we can't see them.
But they're also on mute.
Yeah, he's supposed to let them in, though. Like, he's supposed
They may
to
have muted
unmute.
themselves.
They might be self-muted.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, so we're not hearing any from our guest, and I'm hoping that we're not cutting them off, but we'll move on. Okay, the next thing is our minutes, and we are going to take these one at a time because some are very short and some are very long. So the first minutes that we need to approve would be the Board of Selectmen Budget Review Working Meeting from January 8th. Would someone like to make a motion?
We're not doing the second.
We did the second at the meeting on the 5th.
But it's on here. It's on our agenda.
I'm sorry. I thought we did that on the 16th.
I thought we did, but...
We did.
But we can...
We'd like to make it again, if you'd like to make a motion again to be sure, but...
Because it's on the agenda. I had a comment, and I'm...
So we have to make a motion first to approve.
I'll make a
then we can-
motion to approve the minutes of January 2nd.
Okay,
That motion.
okay. Now we can discuss.
In case we did not approve these in the past, on the last page on the left where it says C tax ordinance.
Can I just put some...
Right here.
line? Yep.
I think that there was comment that it was a tax ordinance regarding refunds and overpayments. I don't want it to look as if we are implementing tax ordinances willy-nilly, but there was some sort of identification attached to tax ordinance.
We gave you a draft, but we have not done anything further with it.
Understood, but on the minutes, I would like it to include that it was a tax ordinance regarding refunds and overpayments.
Okay,
Okay?
sure.
Thanks.
I can do it.
Regarding refunds.
Yeah,
And overpayment.
and overpayments.
Thank you, Jude. Any other discussion on that? Okay, hearing none, call for a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Sorry, next one is the minutes of January 8th. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 8th.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. The next minutes are those of January 16th. It is a regular meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 16.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jude. Okay. I have some corrections on this. The first one would be under number 3, information items. It's not Marie Oresco, it's Mario. Mario, not Marie. And that was on page 1. And on page 3, under the Park and Rec Commission, it says Ellen Garbarino. It should be Mary Ellen Garbarino. Ellen. And on page 4, under Zoning Commission, second line, it's not 2-year alternate terms, it's a 1-year alternate term. Those were the only corrections I had. Does anyone else have any further?
On page 3, near the bottom, Town Council, I asked that we have some more research and information on how those contracts are, how we have a contract for legal counsel, town council.
Yep.
I'd like some more information on that.
I haven't forgotten it. Okay. Anything else with those minutes? Jim, do you see anything?
Just under 7, final paragraph, only just to not leave people out. I thank Public Works as well.
You did.
Dante was there all night. And by
At Public Works.
yeah. And by emergency management, I mean like police, fire, everybody. You know.
I'm sorry, Joe.
So by emergency management, I did mean police, fire, and everybody. You know. So everyone did a great job that night.
Okay. We have no further corrections. I will call for a vote. All those in favor of passing the minutes of the regular meeting minutes for January 16th, 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes. We move on to the special meeting of January 22nd, 2024.
Special or budget?
It was special, the special meeting.
But the budget came first that day. One was at 9, one's at 3.
Okay, well, we can do the budget review then.
Okay,
So we'll do the budget review working meeting of January 22nd at 9 a.m. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the budget review working meeting on January 22nd at 9 a.m.
I will second the motion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we move to a vote, and the motion passes. Sorry, I did that out of order. All right, now we go to the special meeting of January 22nd at 3 p.m. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 22nd, 3 p.m. special meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving these minutes of January 22nd, 2024, the special meeting at 3 o'clock, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Aye. Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, the last one is the budget review working meeting of January 29th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes budget review working meeting of January 29th at 5 p.m.
I'll second the motion.
Is there any discussion on those minutes? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, our next step is to old business. Just to let you know that I did have a meeting with a few residents from Miami Beach and Hawks Nest to talk about the crib. We had a Teams meeting on the evening of January 24th. We're going to plan a larger meeting in February, at which point we will be inviting Keith Nielsen to come in from DACO to provide us with some information. And of course, if either of you would like to be included, that's fine, but that will be a special meeting. And you can attend by phone if you wish to.
Okay.
So I will let you know when I can set that up with Keith and the people from that particular group. Okay, at this point, we're going on to new business. We do need to amend the agenda to add the Shellfish Commission and Harbor Management to the appointments list for some changes. So can I have a motion to amend the agenda to add Shellfish Commission and Harbor Management to the appointments list?
I'll make a motion to add the Shellfish Commission and Harbor Management to our agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you both.
Who was the first?
Shellfish.
Commission.
Shellfish and Harbor Management. We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on that? All those in favor of amending the agenda to include the Shellfish Commission and the Harbor Management Commission to the appointments list, please confirm by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Okay. So the first on our agenda was the Open Space Commission. I sent you a letter from Greg Fatoma with his thoughts and regarding the one long-term regular member, which would be Ann Redfield. And I'd like to start with that, if we can get a motion to appoint Ann Redfield, the commission secretary. And I will say that let me check. I think I have in my list of when that
24 to 27.
24 to 27. Thank you, Jim. It's a 3-year term. Yes. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mary Daly, could you please mute yourself on that call? Thank you. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to appoint Ann Redfield to a regular 3-year term, expiring on February 1st, 2027, to the Open Space Commission.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of appointing Ann Redfield to a 3-year regular term ending January 31st, 2027 to the Open Space Commission, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. And then we have, there are 4 other vacancies. Also, 2 of those are regular members and 2 alternates, and there are 5 applications for those. Mr. Fatoma has chosen 4 people that he's suggested, and their names are listed here as regular members, and also 2 for alternate members. You also have the original packet with all the people he could have chosen from a few weeks ago. So, can I have a motion from anyone
I'll make a motion to appoint Maria Marchant, Russell Linderman as regular members of the Shellfish Commission.
Nope, open space.
Open space. Open space. Now, these terms, did they begin in 2022, expire in 2025? Is that correct?
Hold on one sec. I thought I
That's
pulled,
what I saw from on board.
it's a 2-year term on these because I have it right here.
Looks like it was vacant from 2022.
So the 2 regulars that are available both expire on 1/31 of 25.
And who are those 2 that expire? Have they resigned?
They're vacant positions.
Okay, they're vacant. Okay, Bruce.
So the term would be from February 1st, 2022 to 1/30/2025. Is that
Right.
correct?
We'll put it in as February 5th.
Okay.
So Jim made the motion,
I'll
your
second.
second.
Yep.
Okay, any other further discussion? 2025, those terms expire because they were vacancies. All those in favor of appointing Maria Marchant and Russell Linderman to the Open Space Commission with regular terms expiring January 31st, 2025, please signify by saying aye.
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 So
Any-
Michelle Marchand and
Maria.
Maria Marsh.
And it's-
Correo. Sorry.
Correo Marchant. I can give this to you when I'm done, and then I just want it back, but you can get your spelling. And that was Maria and Russell Linderman. And then we have 2 choices that Mr. Fatoma has made regarding his alternates that are available.
Are these for 1 year as well, or are
These are just 1 year.
That's what I thought.
Most of our
Okay.
alternates are 1-year positions.
Looks like one of them is to 2027.
Okay.
I didn't bring my...
I have it right here.
You have it?
Okay, sorry, the alternate 3 will be, so we'll have to do this in 2 motions then, because we have 1 that will expire. Alternate 2 is a vacant seat, and it's a 1-year, it was a 3-year term, but this one will expire in 25. And then we have an alternate 3, that position will expire in 27.
Because you have the packet, have both of these people attended a meeting?
Greg did a very thorough interviews, and actually I was really pleased with all of our commissioners who went above and beyond to reach out and talk to people.
Okay. My only question is, I just want to make sure, because it was posted, it was recommended, or you had to attend a meeting. So did both of these people attend meetings, and were there other applicants who attended a meeting that were not offered a position? Some in further recommendations,
I know
they stated that. So
I
was
know
just
I know
curious.
that Christine did.
Okay,
because
and I know
she
John
went-
Meek did.
But I don't
Okay.
have his other, I don't have all the packets.
There
I
was
just pulled
only
tonight.
one other person I knew that applied, and he attended a meeting as well, and that's
Okay,
okay.
all right.
But if they have attended meetings, I'm fine with it.
All right, so who
Okay.
would we like to appoint to the vacant position expiring 1/31/2025?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Christine McGregor to the alternate position expiring 2/1/2025.
No, it's 1/31/2025.
1/31/2025.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Hearing none, call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Our next motion would be for Joan Meek with an alternate position expiring 1/31/2027. This will be a 3-year alternate position.
I'll make a motion to appoint Joan Meek to the 3-year alternate position expiring 1/31/2027.
Okay.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of appointing Joan Meek to a 3-year alternate position on open space with a term expiring of 1/31/2027, 2027, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Okay. We now are moving on to, making sure I'm following through, Planning Commission.
And there are how many?
Harold, this is, I believe, all three planning positions. Alternates that Harold has listed. And he has also worked with, so he has two and then an either or.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Chris Kerr, Barbara Gaudio, and Howard Lewis as alternates for terms expiring 1/30.
Okay. Jude, do you wish to second that? I will, for discussion purposes. Jim, would you like to open any up? Do you want to say anything about your motion?
My reasons being, I've worked with Chris and Barbara on planning. They're wonderful members of the commission. I think they're, contribute to the conversation. And Howard is going to be on the commission, and it'd be great. He's supremely talented, and will be very good on the commission. I think it'd be great to have him on there to get completely up to speed by the time he's a full member.
I would like to see the recommendations that he's made honored. Howard's going on already, so I think it would be great to have people outside of Howard who will be starting during the term. And I would like to see the first three that Harold recommended.
Okay.
And they have all attended meetings.
Any further discussion? Okay, we'll call for a vote on the motion that's on the floor for Barbara Gaudio, Chris Kerr, and Howard Margulis to be named to the Planning Commission as alternates. These are all one-year positions. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Nay.
Nay. Okay, 2-1, but motion passes. All right, the next step is the Shoreline Gateway Committee. Mark Griswold has applied to the Shoreline Gateway Committee. I have spoken to Michaela. This is a committee that accepts new members when there's vacancies, and because Matt Ward has stepped down, there's a vacancy on that committee. So Mark has applied. Can I have a motion to appoint Mark this is to a life term as long as the committee is valid?
I'll make that motion.
I will second.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of appointing Mark Griswold to the Shoreline Gateway Commission, it's actually a committee, it's not a commission, was on the board, wrong. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any nays? No. Hearing none, we move on. The next one is our Historic District Commission. I provided you with some information on that from John Noyes and Deanie. As you know, we reappointed C. Russell Todd for his 5-year term back earlier in January. We have 2 alternate seats that are slot, and they sent a letter regarding that. So we have 2 vacancies, and we had 4 applications, and they have 1 recommendation, and then they said they weren't sure about some of the other people, although many of these people have come to meetings.
I think further on though, Martha, it says they favor David Ludington.
Okay, sorry.
So Julie Malloy and David Ludington.
Okay. And by the way, I did follow through with Eric, and there are no issues with any of the candidates because I did follow through on John's request to do that. Okay. So would anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Julie Malloy and David Ludington to the Historic District Commission.
I will second.
Any further discussion?
My only question is, it appears that we have two different terms. One of them beginning now till 2027, and one that began in 2022 going to 2025.
Okay. So we can amend the motion, and if you would like to tell me, Jude, which one would you like to
Julie
appoint?
Malloy for the first
I'll second.
position.
Okay, so Julie Malloy's position, or alternate, Julie, sorry, would expire on 1/31/2025?
27.
27, okay, so alternate 2 would be 1/31/2027, and then to amend the motion to read that David Ludington would get the seat,
Be appointed, correct.
be appointed to the alternate 3 seat, which
Yep.
expires 1/31/2025.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on. Next one is Inland Wetlands Commission. And I sent you a letter from Rachel Gaudio, the chair, regarding her thoughts on the, and I did go through and did check that with the registrars that Chris Marchant is a U. He is not an R, although he's improperly identified on onboard, and we will fix that moving forward. So we need to appoint.
And will you state how many seats?
I
in the
am.
term?
I'm working on that one. Hold on one sec. So these are 2 regular terms. They do not have any alternate. Oh, they have 2, wait, sorry. I can't understand why onboard always puts everything into the middle. They have 2 alternate positions, which are still active. And so these are for 2 regular seats, both expiring 3-year terms, 1/31/2027. And there were, okay, so we have 2, anyone?
I'll make a motion to appoint Tom Macknick and Chris Marchant to the 2 regular seats as recommended by the chair.
Oh, Jim, I'll second for discussion purposes. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of appointing Chris Marchant and Tom Macknick to regular terms on the Inland Wetlands Commission expiring 1/31.
Wait a minute before.
Sorry?
Partway through, it says Todd Poulos is already a regular member.
We're not doing
Okay.
Todd. Todd's okay. His
Oh,
term,
okay.
his
Cool.
term,
Just making
she was just qualifying that he has
Okay.
1 more
Good.
year
He
left.
stays. Got
Yeah,
it.
he's still in.
Okay.
To a regular members expiring 1/31/2027. Call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Motion does not pass. Do we have another motion on the floor?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Tom Macknick and Michael Aurelia to two regular terms on the inland wetlands expiring January 31st, 2027.
Jude, you care to second?
No.
I'll second for discussion purposes. Jim, do you want to say anything about your motion?
This is no reflection on anyone's service on there. Chris Marchant is a good guy. Michael Aurelia, I think, is pretty supremely qualified and talented. And the only analogy I could use is like having a baseball team. You have a 25-person roster, and sometimes you have to cut good people you don't want to cut. So I'm going with Tom Macknick and Mike Aurelia.
Okay, any other further discussion? Okay, call for a vote. All those in favor of appointing Tom Macknick and Michael Aurelia to 3-year regular terms on the inland wetlands expiring 1/31/2027, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Moving on, that is the end of inland wetlands. And then we have a correction for flood and erosion control. As I sent to you a copy of Mr. Carl Ravick's application, he was kind enough to put his wife on second, and we didn't realize that it was he basically put her on to say that if he was out of town, she'd come to the meeting to take notes. But that was and he had sent us, but she was his backup. So what we want to do is rescind our voting of Christine Olson, his wife, on flood and erosion, and put Carl on. And as you know...
Weren't there 2 applications that came in, though, not just this one for something else?
We already...
For him and her?
No, that was the other one, Will Bowles and Christina. Those were for Soundview and...
Right, and one was not a resident.
They both weren't, yeah.
Right.
So, okay, so can I have a motion to rescind our vote for Christine Olson to the Flood and Erosion Control Board?
I'll make the amendment.
I'll second.
All those in favor of rescinding our appointment of Christine Olson, please signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous, and it passes. And then we move on to, can we make a motion to appoint Carl Ravick? It's R-A-V-E-C-H, Carl with a K.
I'll make the motion to appoint Carl Ravick to flood and erosion.
I will second.
Okay, Jude and Jim. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And motion passes. Moving on to the Tree Commission, Mr. Edmondson is reapplying to his alternate 1-year position. He had not gotten his application into us before. He has been on as an alternate, and I have spoken to Joanne DeCamilla, and she really would like him to stay on. So can we have a motion to appoint Peter Edmondson to his 1-year alternate membership on the Tree Commission?
I'll make the motion to appoint Peter Edmondson to Tree Commission 1-year alternate.
I will second.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Those in favor of appointing Peter Edmondson to a 1-year position expiring 1/31/2025 on the Tree Commission as an alternate, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, then we have our let's do shellfish. It's right here in we were going to add that on. We have a new applicant to shellfish. Shellfish does not meet on a regular basis, but Mr. Fenton would like to be on the Shellfish Commission because he is currently working, he's the Associate Director of the Great Island Oyster Foundation, and he's currently enrolled in the Foundations of Shellfish Farming at the University of Connecticut at Avery Point. So, and we have a vacancy.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Fred Fenton to the Shellfish Commission.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of appointing Fred Fenton to the Shellfish Commission, and I do not have his expiration date, I'm sorry, because I didn't pull that up, but I will get it, and we will add it to the minutes if everyone's okay with that.
On your term, you don't know the term?
I don't know the term, the expiration date, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Although Katie might be flying through right now to see if she can find it. I'm just waiting for Katie to see if she finds it really quickly. Expires 1/31 of some year, I can guarantee you that. We're just,
Whatever the term, I approve.
okay, I just,
Expires 1/31/24, so it would be, it's
it's a
a three-year term.
three-year term,
27.
27. Thank you. Thank you so much for working together to find that information out. Okay, all those in favor of appointing Fred Fenton to a 3-year term on the Shellfish Commission, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Moving on to Harbor Management. We'll do that one next. We also had put that in as an extra. So when we went to do our appointments the last time, we had some changes that, and Mrs. Lewis called in and asked for things to be corrected. So we rescinded our original vote, and we're coming back. So basically, we have Michael Presti and Michael Barnes reapplying for their regular positions.
Correct.
And I do believe I have that in front of me. I do. So, Michael Presti and Michael Barnes, these are 4-year positions. So, both of them would be 4 years. And they would also like David Acosta to take over
He's an alternate now.
Right, and they would like him to be moved into the regular position, their 9th position, that Tom Kilo vacated when he resigned. So basically, we could have one motion naming Michael Presti, Michael Barnes, and David Acosta to 4-year terms on harbor management.
Make that motion that Mike Presti, Mike Barnes, and David Acosta be appointed to 4-year terms on harbor management.
I will second.
Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, move for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any abstentions? Any nays? All right, moving right along. Now we have their applications for their alternate, and they will have 2
Do you have their applications with you?
I do not.
Do you?
I can,
This is-
I do have it on
yeah.
the phone. I can
Rebecca,
pretty quickly.
Mela, and Richard, and she would like them in the order in which they applied. So,
Is that what she said?
yes, at the top of
At the
this
top.
email. So, basically, they seem to have always had someone in waiting, and that's the way they...
So the order they applied are not the same as the 3 in our file.
This is
No,
It's Rebecca first, Mila, and then Richard.
Right, so Carrie's response was this, the order in which...
I saw that.
they
I have
came
that in
forward.
front of
So
me.
she's got that.
My question is, do all 3 of these, I know Richard has experience, and I know Rebecca does, but I haven't read their
That's
Mila.
Rebecca's.
Yep, okay, Mila.
That's Michael's.
That's Kenny. I'm not familiar with Mila. That's the one I have a question with.
She works for, I know that she has...
The other 2, I'm familiar with.
She works outdoors in I think she does sailing. You don't have it up anymore,
I
but
didn't see it.
she actually reapplied in September of 23 and then reactivated her application.
Correct. The order in which the paperwork and application was, all have attended a meeting, you have 3 applicants. But is it saying anywhere she wants them should be appointed based on?
I didn't see the preference listed there myself.
I don't either, and I know she had a preference
Well, if you'll
for
notice,
Rebecca.
she changed it from what I said. I said, you have 3 applicants in our files. Rebecca, Richard, Mela. She came back and said, correct, but the order in which the paperwork and applications were as follows.
Okay.
And then she reordered them.
To the way they had applied.
Yes.
If they're all equal, I would think in all fairness, it's based on the order, but I also don't know if any of them were late and if they've all been, it does say they've all been to a meeting, so.
And many of them attend on a regular basis as guests.
Can we ask Terry if she has a preference?
I thought it was stated in her letter, but
I don't see it here.
that's what I'm saying because she said in which the paperwork and application was as follows.
Oh, you have that letter?
It's right here on the top of her email.
Correct the order in
But
which...
it's not the way I did.
See, I don't have the whole email.
Right there. This is
Correct
Terry.
the order in which the paperwork and application was as follows, but
So I told her in my email, here's your 3 applicants
Right.
that you can. But then she went back, and then in the minutes of that last meeting, she went through and was doing it on the phone as well and said these are the way they came in. So Richard just applied this recently.
Right, but I didn't see that she had a preference other than Rebecca.
All I can tell you is I read it this way, but if you want, I don't want to, I'm not making a phone call in the middle of the thing, and I think that if you want to hold off on the alternates, we'll wait till in 2 weeks and we'll do it.
She attended our last budget review meeting and she was very emphatic and I'm not clear, so
We can do that.
I would like to postpone on the alternates for harbor management until
I'm sure they'll-
Terry clarifies it better to me.
They
You
always-
may have an understanding.
They always have a quorum, so.
Okay.
Actually, Tom, you're on harbor management. Do you know anything about that?
Listening to what the conversation is, I don't have that level of detail. I know that the individuals, and as it was stated, they come to a number of meetings, so
Okay.
I can't speak for Terry in that regard.
But as far as the regular positions, I'm very comfortable with them.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So, did we vote on the David Acosta? Did we vote on the 3?
We didn't need a motion, that was just a whole discussion.
No, but we voted on the 3 regulars.
Yep,
We're
those
good.
are finished.
So we're
good.
holding,
So the
so we're
only one
holding
that's
off.
left are the alternates for harbor management.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
motion on the alternate.
Okay,
Okay,
great. Thank
we'll
you.
move it to the next one. Okay, WPCA. Okay, so the WPCA had a vacancy. Steve Urbowitz had resigned, but it was still in on board, so it wasn't showing as a vacancy. So what we would like to do is fix this just a bit to take Corey Bullock, who had been a regular member, and we made him an alternate last time, and move him back up to a regular member.
I have no problem with that.
And then they'll still need 1 new alternate, but we don't have any applications for that at this time, so it will just stay a vacancy. So Corey will go
Okay.
from alternate to a regular.
Got it.
Can I have a motion to move Mr. Bullock to a full-time position, and his term would end, I wrote this down, hold on.
26, I think it says here.
Yes, he'll fill that vacant spot, which will be ending 1/31/2026.
I'll make a motion to appoint Corey Bullock to a regular term on the WPCA.
Thank you, Jim.
And I'll second.
Okay. Okay, any further discussion?
Just for clarification, our previous votes will stand. We're just...
Yes, all the other votes stay the same.
Alternate to
Yep.
full-time.
Yep,
Leaving one vacancy.
leaving one vacancy, which I'm sure someone will want to join in. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, let's call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. All right, so we've gotten through our, now, we sent you the tax refund. I'm going to give you this copy, Suzanne, which will go in as a PDF to the minutes at the end. If you can't do it, let me know and I'll put it in after you send the minutes, if you don't want to do it. But you don't have to put all those notes in. We can just say see list attached. That's fine.
And that's the same as we had reviewed and approved before.
Well, this is the new one from this. But over the next, Suzanne was here, she left. But Suzanne indicated that over the next few months, you will see a number of these coming in. She has duplicate payments, and she has seen sometimes people, their mortgage company pays, and they also send a check.
Correct.
And then the check has to go back. So that is some of the situations here. Some are overpayments, and some of us have loving children who watch our homes in line, pay the taxes, and then forget to tell you, and then you pay them as well. So, anyway, whoever's on the phone, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. All right, so let's, so we have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 overpayments or adjusted payments, coming to a total request of $30,511.34. Can I have a motion?
I have a question.
Sure.
Well, do we need a motion first?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I'll make a motion to refund the overpaid taxes. I'll make the motion for purposes of discussion.
Do you want to put the amount in your motion?
For $30,511.34.
I will second.
Okay. Jude and Jim, any further discussion?
How are these verified?
Through Suzanne and her office.
I mean, is it through an audit? Is there another pair of eyes that looks at these to verify? I mean, I trust Suzanne. I think she does a great job, don't get me wrong, but this is new to us. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, because so I can tell you this. I do know that, like Toyota lease, that's a situation where someone may either turn their lease in early, and therefore the taxes are adjusted.
I understand all that, and I understand there's duplicates, and she's made a very good but motor vehicle adjustment. Huh?
We asked to see if she was still in the building.
No, I know.
No, her light's on. So
she was here and she wasn't. So
no, she's here. Her lights are
I just like to know understand the process.
Dave,
better.
could you go see one of her?
Anita, do you know?
No, we're going to find out. We're going to
Okay,
we're going to go right to the
Thank
source.
you.
Go right to the source. I feel like we should play a Jeopardy song at this point in time.
Everybody can unmute and we can listen to their background.
Okay. Which one?
Of the refunds.
I'm sorry, sure. Here.
So Jude, are you just looking for like a level of detail?
Yeah, I
Suzanne,
just,
would you come to the table, please?
Suzanne. Hello. You're doing a great job. Thank you. I have a question on, you extrapolate all this.
Yeah.
Refunds, I get it. Does a second pair of eyes look at it as well to verify? How does this process work?
Right. So basically, it's in the Poly Data database system. So it's like everything else. Only the tax collector looks at it. I can ask my assistant to take a look at it as well. The reality is, if there is a credit on somebody's account, usually what happens, we understand and know what's going on.
Exactly.
And that's
therefore
why-
the explanation.
I did not go
Correct.
into the full details.
No,
but
I didn't
let's just
expect
say,
you to.
with the number of properties that we have here that are second homes for
Mm-hmm.
people, multiple members of the family
I get that.
make payments.
Yep.
And so, the only thing that I would be concerned about is if there's ever a situation where, I'll tell you this, if somebody has a credit that does not match one of the two installments for their real estate because they're split
Right.
equally in half, we don't quickly refund those because it's like, that's
I see that
odd.
in some of these
Right,
rules.
right, because it's like, what if in the past, as I'm cleaning up the records from previous years, what if something got miscoded and sent to
Exactly.
the wrong person? I can tell you on all of these, so I do the due diligence and I look into it.
Right.
And that's why I've been very reticent and thorough on doing this, going, okay, we're only going to process the ones that are clearly the auto leasing companies.
Understood.
They know and they
They're
tell the
obvious.
assessor, that lease car got turned back, the person bought it out or whatever, give us our money back.
Right.
So those are concrete and fast. The real estate ones, we have people who forget that they have an escrow account.
No, I get that
Or
too.
children that are taking over for their adults and putting it into a trust and they're paying from another town. And so we see where, and they call and go, oh, I hit the button twice.
Well, I'm wondering, that part I don't have any
Yeah.
issue with. I'm thinking, is there a way that perhaps someone like Anita or your assistant, where it's a two-part approval before we approve it?
I mean,
I would like to see something like that.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't want to speak for Anita and say if she has time to do that.
No,
at certain
I
times.
understand, but
But it does
if
take
someone
research
else
to
would
go back, yeah.
just sign off on it,
Sure.
the way
sure.
we sign off on payables and everything else, I would
Yeah.
feel more comfortable.
That is fine, because as I
Okay,
tell you, I
great.
am going back and looking at some past ones, and I want to make sure that we're not sending money to the wrong party
Exactly.
from an omission standpoint.
And I
So
make
I'm-
mistakes, everyone.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have another
Yeah.
set of eyes. So
And Mel would probably be a good, she's right across the hall
Well,
from
right,
you.
so many of these, we've already dug into them, and without going into the details of the situation,
Yeah, I'm not asking for someone to go back and verify all your research, but I
right.
just would like another initial or something.
Especially when it gets to an amount like this.
Exactly.
Where
We're not talking-
$178, we're less apt to worry, but when you
But
start to add it all up.
$30,000 and I'm making a motion,
Right.
I'd like to know that
Right.
you agree and another person.
Perfect.
That's all.
That is fine. And as I say, in most cases, it's clearly a situation where I call the bank and I go, we have a payment here, like, oh, those people closed on the property. We call their lawyers and they go, oh, you're right, okay, we're straightening this out. So they fall into certain categories, but we can do that. But again, I don't want to speak on behalf of any of the department and say, sure.
We're
I
approving the
volunteer
payment,
to
so
do
I
that.
would feel more
So
comfortable, that's all.
if you would put
Yeah.
a line on this.
Yep.
And your signature verified by
And
and
then-
verified by, that would be great.
It
Okay.
covers all of it that way.
Okay. Now, do you want to see that for the ones that are under the limit that there'll be?
We haven't done the ordinance yet, so
Right.
until we do the ordinance,
This will apply for any level.
Yes.
let's just put it has to, it should be a
Perfect.
check and balance system across the board for any level.
Be happy to do that.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad you were still here.
Yeah, well, we're cleaning up the messes of weird situations like this. You're going to have, every month there will be refunds, because
Of course.
cars keep coming back, and then as we look at things with people, or as they pay off a mortgage and they mess it up with the escrow account, it doesn't happen just in January, February.
No, I understand.
And July, August. Every month
It's a
there'll be
good
a few.
process, so let's just make
Yeah.
it better.
So I know that we've
Great.
got,
I'm sorry, just a quick question. Is there any proprietary information that you have in your database that you can't share with other departments?
No, I don't think so.
It's all
So
fairly
if,
transparent.
let's put it this way, if Mel is looking at Melinda, the assessor, those that are driven by assessor changes, she has more data than I have. We share the two sides of the same system. Right.
Yes.
Right. And it's in the motor vehicle realm. People are protected where that information is not online, and that's why only certain people have certain passwords and permissions to do things in the systems. So, and that's why I just give you a summary like this instead of printing out
So we
pages
don't
that
need all
you
that.
might have.
No.
like,
Provided
you know,
that
There's no, we don't
maybe
need
a
that.
one-line justification or something like that. you know.
Right, well, that's what
That
it,
wouldn't be any sort of compromise of anyone's.
I don't think so, because
Right.
tax payment is public record.
We can
And
look online
You
anyway.
could go online and you could search anybody by address or name in any town in Connecticut. I mean, I can't say every town, but it's all FOIable. It all is payment information. So, yeah, what we see in the back office is the basis of all this, and then what you see online, you don't see check numbers or anything like that. So, you're safe.
Good.
Okay.
So since I have you,
Yes.
and Anita's in the room, I don't think Katie was on that committee, but for that particular ordinance that we are drafting, I know we're pretty close to a final.
I think so.
We now need to add this one last step into it.
Okay.
That the list will come to the Board of Selectmen verified by two
Okay.
Two parties.
parties in the tax assessor's office.
Good.
I'm going to put you and Anita in charge of that, okay? Make sure that gets added to the ordinance.
Okay. Anita's like, great, I'm saying.
Right, yeah.
Glad you came in again.
Great,
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so and is there any further discussion? So we have a motion on the floor to accept the overpaid tax refund request in the amount of $30,511.34. I'd like to take a vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None. And the motion passes. Mr. Roberge, we are excited to have you come up to talk about our two things that we needed for your approval of emergency management performance grant funding. And I want you to know that Dave gave me these a week or two ago. They need as authorization resolution from the Town of Old Lyme Board of Selectmen. Vicki has done those up based on the template that the grants send. It's the same resolution, basically. And so basically, we're voting that I can sign these resolutions. And Dave, if you want to talk about the first one, this is for...
I'd like to hear about it
Oh, I bet
before
you
it's
would.
signed.
Yeah, you don't have to sign on it.
No, I know, but I'd like it to give you.
So you have two pieces of paper here. Why don't you start with the one with the most expensive one first?
All right. These are mutual aid or agreements with the Town of Old Lyme and State of Connecticut as a subgrantee to the federal government for the previously awarded amount of $704,000 for the EOC expansion, along with a $35,000 and change portion for M&A or maintenance and administration costs.
And how much is that per foot? Maintenance administration is how much?
$35,050.
Yeah.
One time? Okay.
Now, if you remember correctly, last year we received an award from the feds for an EOC expansion. We applied for $945,000 and we got a 75-25 mix. As we went through the filing process with the feds and the state, going through environmental and historical preservation reviews and a few other reviews of the parcel, we're down to the point now where they're ready to say, okay, we'll release the funds to you. But that discussion has to be done through the Board of Selectmen to authorize the first selectwoman to be able to sign the agreement. And that's the purpose of this one.
Okay.
So that is the first one that we see for the discussion and, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
You want to go into the second one now?
This is the performance grant. Sorry, they look so...
The first one we just did
Is
was
this the performance?
authorization. Yeah, the first one we just talked about is the authorization for the first selectwoman to enter into an agreement with the state of Connecticut and the federal government on that building grant. The second one is called the Emergency Management Performance Grant, or acronym EMPG. Every year we receive this application from the state by the Fed. What it does is it offsets some of the emergency management operational costs. and it's driven by per capita population. For the last 16 years, we've always received an application for $10,000, which means we get back a 50% return. So if we spend $10,000 earmarked into emergency management, we're able to submit the numbers back for 50% of that, or $5,000.
Okay, I was just looking on the
Yep.
first part to see what the term is. So this whatever we do with this money has to be completed by May 31, 2026.
Correct. That's for the EMPG grant.
Okay.
And basically,
No, that's
This is
that's the MPG.
This is the 708,000. And Board of Finance is aware of this too.
yes.
Okay.
This is the grant you got through Senator Murphy's office.
Yeah.
And
We
this,
talked about this
Yes,
for
we
quite
did.
some time.
We had a
one,
long
yeah.
discussion with Board of
Right,
Finance
for
years
a
ago.
long time.
so the local M&A share though of $35,050, is that in our capital budget so that we have that money to chip in?
Well,
Well,
that's maintenance, so would that go in capital?
I don't know.
that's one of the questions I have for meeting with the Board of
Thank you.
Finance coming.
Will that be portioned out over a number of years to be used towards maintenance instead of a capital investment?
Right. And that was my comment, that one of the things I wanted to sit down with you to discuss
So
in
maybe
preparation
before
of that.
finance, and they're meeting tomorrow night, correct?
Yeah. So we can talk about this some more. I kind of understood it was to hold on to some of the things that they would not cover, and that was what the M&A was, but I can read it again and see if I...
The M&A covers the administration costs of
Right.
overseeing the project and maintaining the integrity of the
Maintenance
project.
and administration,
So
right.
my assumption is that would be your builder's risk and
Right.
a lot of those administrative costs
And as
coming
BJ
through.
said the other night, anything that goes into capital would be something that you would,
Depreciate.
right.
Now, is this
I just want to...
something that, for this evening, looking at this, it's just asking the board to agree to move forward with this project, with this application? Do you give the first selectwoman responsibility and authority to say, yes, go ahead and sign this to get moving on it?
I say that we wait until tomorrow night's meeting with the Board of Finance to get clarification on that portion.
Okay.
It's 24 hours, it's not 2 weeks. However, we should be very excited and happy, don't get me wrong, but I just would like to have...
How about the one for 10,000 where we spend 10 and get 5 back?
That's a different one, yes.
Yeah.
We've done that for years.
Yes. and
So
it's
I have no
repetitive.
problem with that.
It is a repetitive renewable
Right.
application every year.
Exactly.
Right.
No, I think
Okay, so...
by all means. So, but because there seemed to be some clarification needed on this, I think considering the length of service of the people on Board of Finance and their input, that it would be nice to get their
And
approval.
I would like to know where we're going to put the 35,000.
Exactly.
So, let's do this. We're going to pass on this tonight, and when tomorrow night, we're going to bring this up to the Board of Finance. We're going to put this first on the agenda if you'd like to come. We will amend their
So
agenda.
we'll just put you on speakerphone.
If you want, or you can do Teams.
to come.
You can do
Well,
Teams as well.
It's face-to-face.
But basically,
Yep.
come, share, we'll figure out where it's going to go.
Okay.
And then, if that's the case, we're going to have a very quick special meeting. You could call in. You can,
I'm
you
used
can
to
call in.
I'm
Both of
getting
you.
used to weekly meetings.
Good. And
Not forever, though.
so we'll do a very quick special meeting so that we can get this going, because I know that you would like to get your committee moving and get going.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to table this, and we're going to go on to the EMPG one, $10,000, and I need approval of the Emergency Management Performance Grant application funding for
This is the second part here, emergency management grant for operations? No.
No, I'm
No,
sorry,
that's,
the first
they're backwards.
It's
Yeah.
they're backwards.
They're backwards.
Performance grant funding, up to $10,000, we would pay back 5, they'd give us half of anything we spend up to $10,000.
Correct.
And Dave will not go over the $10,000.
I'm not guaranteeing that at all.
I'd like to make a motion that we allow the first select woman to approve the emergency management performance grant funding up to $10,000.
A second.
Any further discussion? I did that. Okay, hearing none, move for a vote. All those in favor of allowing the first select woman to sign the approval of the emergency management performance grant funding for Mr. Roberge, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? Hearing none, that passes. Thank you very much, Dave.
What time tomorrow night?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Okay.
And I'll tell Michelle that you need to, we're going to have to amend the agenda to include you first.
And
Excuse me.
can I?
Yes,
connect
you
with
and I can
tomorrow?
chat tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll get it all straightened out.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay, now moving on to the fun part. The operating budget. Anita is here. She's in the background. If you need any questions answered, etc., and you have your updated forms. This is a situation where Anita has done a great job of putting in a new blue column. The blue column was when we talked and we had all of our general budget things, there were certain items that we thought that were too low or too high. We can have further discussions.
This is not for a vote, correct? What
Yes.
we're doing, it is?
It's a vote, it's a vote to approve this budget to move to the Board of Finance, move it to the Board of Finance.
So until there is a motion, I can't discuss it, or are we discussing ahead of time?
We can do, we're not going to have totals. So that's a really tricky one here on this one because it really has to go line by line.
And we haven't covered all of this.
We've just
In
covered
detail.
a lot, but yeah.
We've covered a lot.
And some of
My-
these are contractual things that are
Right.
just...
My concern is there's a lot on here that we have not reviewed in these budget review meetings, so I do not feel comfortable voting on it. I'm fine with sending it as is to the Board of Finance, but I am not comfortable in voting on it, personally.
Okay, but we have to go through and put go through these lines because Anita needs to clean this up for tomorrow night.
So we're going through every line in these.
Well,
How many pages?
Well, first of all, let's remember, we're
23.
only going to 21 because we're not doing capital. And this is just the general operating budget. And so we do not have to do anything with salaries because, as you know, we've put a placeholder in for salaries because we have a special meeting on that next week.
Right, and it's on their agenda for the finance agenda.
That's only because BJ's going to tell them we've put a placeholder in here. That's what he's going to tell them. And then, but it's not to discuss because we cannot finalize that until we have that meeting next week. So we can quickly go through the other items on here, and we can discuss if there has been someone who's been asked to be added on as a part-time or moved to a full-time thing. We can discuss those and go through recommendations. But I think that we owe it to Anita to try to cover as much of this as possible. So we can go line by line. We can do it whatever way you want. If there's only certain issues that you're concerned with. Suzanne, Anita's in the background. You don't have your computer, though, but I'll make notes on mine.
I have all my paperwork with me, though.
Okay. So,
I can go grab my computer.
Do you want us to ask our questions? How do you want this to work?
I think that we start at the top and go down at what we can. And if you have a question on any of them, just please skip over salaries or part-time wages unless it's been a request for someone's asked for a new person. So there's no new people in the Selectmen's office. Our clerk is Suzanne, and then we have mileage. Nothing's changed on those lines. Legal counsel has gone up by $10,000 only because we will not have a full-time HR consultant, and that is basically for Pat McHale and his office in case we have more issues as we had in the past when we didn't have HR. But we also have two and we'll also go into this year, next year, we will start with our public works department as well. So that's another reason to have Mr. McHale, who's our labor attorney, on more increase. We have an increase of advertising, $1,500 due to the increased cost from the day. Those are for our town meetings and things that we have to.
Can I go back a line?
Mm-hmm.
In the legend on the right, the increase in legal, and I understand what you're saying, but on the right it says due to HR with no HR consultant, meaning
because we don't have an HR person.
but we are putting money in the budget for one.
Yes, that's
Okay,
further down.
great. I saw
But
that.
it was not necessarily that we would have someone on here full time.
No, but $57,000, I think it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that was that. And then we have dues to cost, CCM. That particular HR consultant there is taken out as a part-time employee because it was it's later down below as a coordinator. Engineering. I thought we had increased engineering because of the past history. We're at 320. But, pardon?
We added dam in the other, another line,
Yeah.
not under yours.
Okay. Beach passes stays the same. Townwide communication, sustainable old lime, same request in Shoreline Gateway.
I don't remember having a conversation about Shoreline Gateway. And
Shoreline Gateway.
Last year we approved 30,000, up from 1,000, and none of it's been used to date. And I don't feel comfortable requesting an additional 30.
There's an email from Ms. Pearson and Mr. McHugh for that reasoning. You have it in here, Anita, as under Shoreline Gateway. It's a 201.
Yes,
Can you
an email and they'll have to, the city is finally getting back together, I guess.
No, they're continuing at a faster pace.
Right, well, I guess it was also slow, and they're working on it. They requested an additional 30 to work on issues that they currently.
I know that they currently have, they had a meeting with Eric Knapp. They have some zoning changes that they may be asking for along the shoreline area, or to increase the village district from the Soundview Village District up to shoreline. I don't know for specifics. I don't have any details. So this is just sort of hearsay, so don't put it in the newspaper because I'm not sure what they're really thinking because I haven't gone to the last meeting with the zoning officer. So I just know that there's things coming up that they think they'll probably get to before June 30th of 2024. And then they have plans for next year going forward. We can certainly table it. We can ask them to come to a meeting with the Finance Department, Board of Finance, to explain it in more detail and get all of the correct information out to the public of their thoughts. If you would like, I will make sure that they are at the meeting.
It's not something I feel comfortable approving, so yes.
Okay. So we will put that as a question mark. And then we go to the HR department, and basically, as you can see, we've only put in for a part-time person for 10 to 20 hours per week if we so needed. The other account lines for mileage, postage, etc. are zeroed out. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. Town clerk's office, we did have a meeting with Vicki and we went through she would like to add her admin Jessica to increase her hours to 400 due to the presidential election, coverages for vacations, etc. That was an increase of a person. And mileage
That's not to increase her to full-time,
No,
only increasing the hours, got it.
400 per year.
Yep. Thank you.
Mileage, postage, advertising has gone up a little again because of the day cost. Dues for International Institute of Clerks went up a little bit.
IT went up, computer equipment,
Sorry.
9,500 for computer. That's good.
But she is looking into other purchases on that, but she needs that to run the new
Correct.
software.
Yep.
Don't think anything else under town clerk's office stands out. We also met with, next section is tax collector. We did sit and talk to Suzanne about her budget. We did go up on mileage considerably because of the trainings that she needs to take along with her assistant. Postage stayed the same request as last year. She put a little bit more in for legal counsel. Again, advertising, she did increase that by 900. And dues to the Connecticut Tax Collectors Association. Contracted services with QDS. Motor vehicle fees went down.
What about the contracted services audit fees? We had a question on that last time. We had a question on
Tax contracted services, it's on page 3, almost at the bottom. It says, you want the number? 201-0030-0011-001. It's tax contracted services audit fees, $8,000. It's a required annual audit.
That one, she did not break it down, she only gave me the information that's there on the page.
We had,
I have it for the 0011000 for quality data. And that was about 18,000.
That's above it.
I'm a little confused. I know there was a period of when our last tax collector was here, and we had to have some audit service.
Oh, the 8,000?
Yeah, the 8,000.
The 8,000 for the auditor is basically the auditor in previous years that has gone through them and has done extensive work in the tax department balancing. This year, I did work with the auditors on the balancing, but there is an additional fee that the auditors, their total bill came in at approximately $55,000, but in the budget was $45,000, so it's going to be the $45,000 plus the $8,000. So it's the difference.
But it doesn't look like something we did for many years before, or
the last 3 years.
Right, and hopefully we won't have to continue in the future.
Correct.
Okay.
It should come out.
We should be doing better.
It should come out next year.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So the question marks become 8,000?
Yes. Did they break that down when they sent the $55,000 bill? Did they break out the audit, special audit for tax?
No, after doing research, they billed an additional amount last year. This year, just the fees were understated.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer is at the bottom of page 3 and moves on. They have asked for possible part-time clerk for finance, which is included in that calculation. More discussion can be had on that if need be. Anita's done a great job of requesting dues, contracted services with BMSI, and any other miscellaneous, which means that she needs like a new monitor, 2 new monitors, and privacy screens so that if people walk into her office, they can't see what the data that she's working on. And
then for also my assistant secretary.
because of what the payroll and the things that she does. Okay. Any questions on
Anita?
No. Okay, registrar. Jen and Kathy did not come, but they did provide us with a letter, which I sent to you after our meeting last week when they could not attend. Most of these, the increases are due to the possibility of primaries, which are unknown at this time, how many we may have, and the presidential elections, along with the 14 days of early voting and the 7 days of early voting for the primary.
Which means we have no control.
No control at this point in time. And so, any questions else on theirs?
And salaries are disregarded once again because the salary study has not been reviewed and salaries have not
been finalized. Okay, then we go into infotech. And this, we had a meeting with Tom that you were present for, and Tom went through this, and there are some changes and increases. Some is licensing that you'll see changes. Some is a request for IT equipment. Those are laptops, monitors, and UPS batteries. I will say, Anita, I'm hoping that Tom hasn't added your equipment, your request into his.
Can we put a notation to that when it goes to the Board of Finance?
Well, I'll just check with Tom. I'll check with Tom.
And I know that you mentioned something about you might have done the town clerk as well.
Great.
Sure if it was going in his budget.
Okay. So town clerk and finance. And by the way, every single department head will be here the night that they go through the Board of Finance. They've all been requested to come, and they've all been invited, and have responded that they would be here to answer questions so that we're not grappling for answers ourselves. Moving on. Anything else under Tom's on page 3?
And at the bottom, are we doing probate when you say page 3?
I'm sorry, I just was doing IT onto the bottom, and then probate is just one line. Contracted services, and it did go up $1,303 this year for probate.
And I have an email.
From Kevin Jervis.
Yes.
You're still on 3. Are we good with 3? Are we moving on to 4? Or are you still working on 4?
We can't do anything about what they bill us for the contracted amount.
Right,
So,
okay. Just making sure. I just didn't know if you were...
Yeah, exactly. But we have no say in that.
So at the top of page 4, we start with our assessor's office. Again, we spoke to Melinda and went through her. I will note that if you look at her assessor salaries, she's my understanding is...
Yeah, go to 35 hours.
Yes, she's requested to go to 35 hours, and then she is also... So her wages are listed twice. How did you do this, Anita?
No, they're not.
Okay, and then her assistant is added. And what the but you do have,
I see it on line for the difference.
right, I see it. I see it. I think it was, okay, and then she did request the summer intern that she's had before at 145 hours at basically minimum wage. And then we go into the mileage, the postage, the legal counsel. She did go up with legal counsel a bit because due to the reevaluation, dues went up slightly, down on contracted services.
We have a note about possibly reducing mileage based on prior years. Our last meeting.
Okay.
$1,000.
I thought that she said because the reval was coming up, she didn't want to. But, I don't have that in a note in front of me.
I was taking down, the discussion that we had.
Yep, no, I agree.
I would also say that she will have a new hire, and if her new hire starts to do some outside work and can go to sites to do things, that would also be another person who would be getting mileage reimbursement, because we will be hiring a new person for that position in the next number of weeks.
That's not contracted, that's an employee.
That's an employee. It's Mickey's replacement.
Oh, I'm sorry, correct. I have to say, as we go through this, and I see that people are asking for increases in hours, without having some more input or look back, maybe one or two instances, I feel that maybe an increase from part-time to full-time might be warranted, or 30 to 35. I do not, without having done a salary study or any of that, I do not feel that I would recommend, from my position, any salary increases, i.e. added hours or added employees at this point. So when this does go to Board of Finance tomorrow night, that's how I feel on those.
Well, we would not be making those decisions till after the 12th.
Understood. But if we're recommending any of this, and I know that these positions, many have clarified that they need more hours.
But that would not be discussed.
Great.
And that's all to be determined after the salary committee meets with the Board of Selectmen. Okay.
I thought we were saying before that, though, except in cases where they've asked for increased hours.
Well, we would take note of it, that we are aware of it, but we wouldn't
be careful to not approve any part-time to full-time because
any of it, right, or new hires.
Yeah. Well, we had talked about new hires, but
we did, but I don't mean replacement hires. I meant added staff.
But in our discussions, I think we were pretty careful to make sure that we didn't have people go from 25 to 35 hours, for example, because that would kick in a lot more expense.
Or 30 to 35.
Reflected in the budget.
Right, we try to stay below 30 if at all possible. But Mickey's position is a 30 hour.
That'll be a replacement.
That's a replacement, right. Can we move on to building department?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we go through this, let's see. He also had a request to make his part-time person full-time. She's currently at 20 hours a week. Then we have mileage, was just legal counsel, up a little in contracted services due to the online permitting system, where it was a quote from OpenGov to provide some of the services for the new year for the contract, and a reduction in their other and miscellaneous. Pardon?
And I do have a copy of the quote on it.
Yes, I know. Yes. We do have a line where we requested that we take his other miscellaneous and reduce it by $1,000. If you'd like, Anita can make that change tomorrow, moving in.
Sounds good.
And then we questioned the amount for the telephone. And I had my notes Anita, that we were going to just check because the cell phone was $13.84 per month. And there's also an additional amount monthly fee to Verizon. And just,
I did pull the bill, and there's a bill going there.
There's a what?
There is a bill that we don't know this.
We don't know why.
well, that's his cell phone payment. For the cell phone is his $13.84 per month that he gets.
That goes in his paycheck. The $13.84 is his paycheck, but there's also a cell phone assigned to the building department.
Do we have a cell phone number?
Do we have the phone?
How about there?
Okay, well, we're going to have to call Verizon or whoever it is tomorrow to find out whose it is. Call it. Maybe it's our previous.
It might be 10 years old.
Who knows? All right. And then I know that we requested some additional information on training, but I know that Mark has to go through training on it every year, so that's definitely. And then we flip to the next page and we go through Ledge Light, again, contracted services.
That can't be changed.
Right. And there's items down, so basically that's just, the only thing changed there is that even the mosquito control, it's still at 40. It's what they requested, although they haven't spent it all, but they do seem to spend close to 40.
It'll be spent in the spring.
Yeah. Town hall, that's our budget through Michelle. We've gone up a little in supplies. And we basically did a 5% increase across on those types of things. The bank fee. Would you like to tell them about the bank fees, Anita, which we found out about late Thursday?
Where were they before?
Anita, Tim and Kelly worked into a new program at Webster.
Okay,
And Anita's I know you're continuing to do research with Webster Bank.
I have it all.
Okay, you want to speak to that for us?
Do you want to have a seat?
Have a seat and speak into the microphone so we can, because this is
Okay, basically with Webster Bank, on the January bank reconciliation, there was a fee for almost $29,000. With that fee, I didn't know what it was, so I emailed our contact at Webster Bank per the email, and she sent me the email. It was between Heather at Webster, Laura at Webster, Kelly, Tim, and Michael Ryder. They basically went into a new sweep account.
Yep.
And basically, it's earning high interest. Right? Currently, they just gave it to us. They increased it to 5%, and that is why our interest, we're doing well there. But once a year, we will get a bill for fees on the account. And I did ask, because when I looked, she's told me that it only happens once a year, that it will not be a monthly because...
And that was the first year? The bill you got was for year one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So probably was entered into agreement sometime back in...
It happened February 5th, 2024.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry, that was mine. I'm sorry, that was me.
I was going to say,
That was
that's
my going
today.
back and forth. Wait a
Is
second.
this based on transaction or
Yes.
percentage? So every time it makes a sweep, so we're allowed X number of transactions for that $30,000.
April 28th, 2023. April 26th, it was signed off.
So we are not going to get another invoice in April. This is a total fee for the year, do we know?
From April to...
According to her, yes, that we're going to get the one bill. I did look onto the account and I saw another analysis for the prior month. But she said that is we're only getting it once And I have a confirmation email from her that says we will do bills one time a year every December.
Is there a copy of the agreement that was entered into anywhere?
No, only email.
Really? I would ask Mike Ryder and Mr. Griswold if they recall that there's a copy of that agreement, because someone signed it.
I asked for that.
You weren't aware of this as a select person.
The only thing I can remember is there was a discussion at Board of Finance, are we making the best choices with our money? And to look for some higher yield accounts.
Which is, if these fees, it says total fees debited 28,539, so that's not 30,000. I mean, it's
29,000.
20. Yeah. So if in fact we are making a lot of money on this because it's more actively pursued, I would not have a problem with the $28,500.
No.
What I would like to know is, it gives a fee basis here.
The fee basis
on the back.
right here.
Yep. So, cost of benefit, how much more did we make? Is $28,500 reasonable? Because obviously it wasn't being managed well. It just sat there for at least a year or two, and we were not making any increase. We weren't getting any reports from our treasurer explaining how much money we had accumulated in interest for a month or a quarter or even a year. So,
and
again,
you are doing very well with interest.
Right.
This
So I have
month
no
alone
problem
was
with it
$90,000.
if it's being done. So it'd be nice to have more information, but can we show, I mean, we're putting in the $30,000 for the fee. Before this goes to Board of Finance, I'd like for there to be a memo or notation on here saying last year we paid $28,539. However, our earnings increased by X number of $100,000.
And this will be brought up to the finance committee tomorrow night.
Anita has a note to share this information.
But the shock value of, we've got a bank fee of $30,000 without a legend would be misleading.
This is going to be...
Right.
We also have to figure out how to pay for the bank. I mean, we have to let them know about this bank fee. So there's 2 points.
Right, but I'm saying it shouldn't be a problem paying it out of this account.
Right.
Is it automatically debited from this account? Okay, then we can put it that way.
Yep.
So it's an offset.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, but I still have to record it under expenditure.
Understood. Right. No, I understand what you're saying, and it has to be disclosed, and I'm happy that finally we are putting the money to work instead of just having it sit there. Thank you.
Okay. You may not want to go too far away, just in case
you
there's
might
more
want to stay
questions.
there.
Well, get your book if you want to be here so that if we have anything, you don't have to go back and forth every time. Okay, any other questions on town hall, building? So interestingly enough, and I just want you to understand that Eric Olson's facilities budget seems to pop into play in various accounts. So we don't have a separate facilities account. It may be something we may consider doing in the future to pull this out. I will tell you that Eric has talked to some of the fire department and the police department, and they are thrilled if he would handle their facility issues.
On a part-time basis?
Well,
that's a whole nother can of
we had discussions months even from Tim saying that this is probably a facility, something that needs to be done, increase. But so that you will see that building supplies went up, building repair and maintenance went up, and business machines same, and that is Tom. We are working on one of those building machines, trying to get a contract with CBS. That it's a division of Xerox.
Oh, I'm very familiar with those guys. I worked with Reaper Graphics business and owned it for a while. That's a pain in the ass.
And I'm wondering if it really, the benefits of the monthly fees that we pay to them are actually beneficial to us in the long run. So we are trying to analyze it. But when I called for the copy of the contract, I, of course, was sent to India, and long distance call. But not on our side.
Do you have a sales rep?
No, she would not give me a name of a sales rep, but said, I'm going to send you an email. So she did. She sent me an email, and then I had to send an email to Xerox. And then they responded to me saying, we got your request for the contract, and I forwarded that to Tom to follow up today because I still have not heard back from them. But we're working on that. Landscaping, we haven't spent any yet because we do it in the spring. Contracted services, gone up again because of price increases and unexpected repairs. As far as contracted services, that could have been anything from, we had an incident here on Friday where we had a blockage somewhere in the line for the lower level toilets. Eric was here 6 or 7 hours behind what he was expected to be here. We had the septic tank looked at. They thought they were going to have to pump it. When they found out they didn't have to do that, they suggested we call Roto-Rooter. Roto-Rooter came. That bill was only $150 because he did an experiment and got the clog to come out. But because we have low flow toilets and because there isn't a lot of pitch to the line, if they don't hold down the handle on the toilet and let it completely flush out, it doesn't have enough force to get it through the line. So they flushed all the toilets around the same time, and the force of all that water unclogged it. Now we have a way to do it, but thank goodness for the Roto-Rooter guys. But there's those kind of things that come up that we don't expect. Heating, pretty solid on that. We're not doing a car, we're not doing facilities management, etc. Then insurance is pretty much all contractual, although Anita, you did we had a brief meeting with Jeff Knapp the other day, and you want to tell them the good news from
Jeff Knapp, the last conversation we had with the state of Connecticut, the partnership plan, they were going to go up between 7 and 10. The good news is the other day they told him it's going to be a 5% increase for the health insurance. So he is going to go out and see what else is available.
He's good. I like him.
And then he will get back to us. He said the market is starting to open, so he will bring us some other options back.
Good. And this is for health insurance, correct?
Correct. All other insurance through KERMA, basically no more than about a 5%. They said 4 to 5%. They did not have quotes yet. It was too early.
One of the things, though, that we will be doing is taking the senior center off as of February. I believe it's 18th.
But then they go back on
we basically go to the builder's risk policy for the construction, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a wash, but we will be looking for that change. Social Security pensions, not much that we can do there. Sorry about that. Moving on to harbor management, you had a discussion with Mike Presti and Terry Lewis the other night. We did get the pump out boat taken care of. Anita had gotten a letter. We did get that fund put into there and the requested amount. A project. I call it more of a regional project because it's just for the area here.
What are you talking about?
The pump out boat for the town of Essex. For the harbor management.
It's not. Okay.
It's not state.
Probably a state requirement, but
I just got off their letter.
Okay, and then we move into affordable housing. Don't think we had requested any changes there or contracted out. Michael did go up a little bit on printing because more public meetings may be coming forward with the McCulloch property. Economic development, there was no change. for her
Go to the next page.
budget, and then we have ethics, and there were some minor changes because of revisions to code that they expect. Water pollution control, Mr. Tsunami left, but you can see that,
I thought they gave us a pretty detailed explanation on it.
right.
Mhm.
The council, project consultant,
Finance, so
well, finance went up a little due to budget. But no, that was,
yeah, went up
sorry.
$140 one category and 200 on the printing.
We do that because of the packages that go on, we receive the packages.
Well, plus on the printing, it may also have to do with the annual report.
Mm-hmm, yes. Flood and erosion is going to be more active, so although those costs are staying the same, you may see an increase during the year.
Is there any funding for them for a clerk? Is there going to be an active board, commission, whatever we want to call them? All the other groups have it, but they do not.
If you are a commission, you are supposed to have a clerk. If you are not a commission, it's like affordable housing is a commission, but they choose not to.
Remind me not to be on it. Someone has to sit there and take their minutes.
I did shoreline, yeah.
Okay.
So I know that, all right, so they can request it, certainly I'm sure a special
I would
appropriation.
expect with that many people, they will
If
eventually.
they want to, yep. Historic district, pretty self-explanatory, no major changes.
I had a question.
Sure.
There's money for an admin in there, and
That's,
they pay someone. That was approved a while ago, a
Yeah.
couple of years ago? Okay, in 2022-23, because there was a lot of heavy lifting in this? Okay. And therefore, their budget went up quite a bit a few years ago. Got it.
back in 22, yeah. Tree commission, I met with Joe, and Anita spent a long time with Joanne, and that additional, other miscellaneous is for the saplings, is that
The
correct?
tree seeding.
Yeah, seedlings.
Which they did the year before, too,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep,
Okay.
so that's that last line.
Mm-hmm.
Parks and Rec,
Again,
that's just the commission itself, it's not, those are just the
no employees, no
commission.
money of that. Got it.
Then we have assessment appeals,
Again,
and
another
increase,
But that's not up 1,100.
yes, due to reval.
Reval.
Okay. And they will be lined up at the door.
Rogers Lake, we had a nice talk with Mark Hastings. There were some changes that were made, moving things around, and he did ask for an increase as far as the rate for the boat patrol, seasonal employment, and
But also the contracted services had a big increase.
that was because of the herbicide. And
Right, and the muscle
The mu-
survey?
the mussel
survey,
survey.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
We go to land use,
Get the salaries and the added positions.
and we have all of our clerks, and we have mileage and postage. Eric, again, came and spoke to us about this. For zoning was the most, up a little bit. Everything else is pretty flat. Anita, I did notice that you put the lower River Cog dues in for that's not his, that would be under mine. Would be under select.
It's been on page.
You put on something about, I'm not sure
This
this.
has been paid out of him. He didn't know why, but it's been paid out of his account. The 11,478?
No, yeah, but but shouldn't be because the River Cog is a council of government.
He's had it in his, he had it last year in his too.
because you wrote, I'm not sure this is really land use. I don't believe it is, but I don't know why it was put there. But as you can tell, it's history way back from 2021.
Yes, Eric put that in.
So definitely the Connecticut River coastal would, but Rivercog, I don't know why they would have put that there.
So move it to you?
Well, let's talk to Board of Finance, because Andy and David and BJ have been on for years, and they would ask. But to me, it's the Council of Government. I don't know why it would go under land use.
Wasn't there some kind of regional housing / land use study that was being done, and there was conferences with various towns at a certain point?
There was, but this is something that I attend, and we all have access to it for our various commissions. I just don't understand why they're putting it in there.
Maybe it should be proportioned.
I think it just should go under Selectmen's office, and because we pay it for the town.
It's a general government function to...
Yes, and then everybody can use, it's like CCM, because everybody can use CCM as well. Okay, we go to anything else there, but that will be a question that we'll need to ask why it's there. And then pretty much, we did put a new one in for engineering under Zoning Board of Appeals. And the rest is, well, in education and training, up a little bit there. Also because Craig will also need training. And we go to Sound View. And Joanne Lishing and Frank Capillardo put this together. I will tell you that some of this is that they are hoping to reignite the Osprey Festival in the fall, and that is why some of the increased costs.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
The commissioner board that Mark Griswold was just appointed to, is the Osprey Festival sponsored or initiated by Soundview or the Gateway?
Actually, this year they're going to have the EDC, the Shoreline Gateway, and Soundview all work together on it.
So they're all going to have it in their budget?
Not so
right
much.
now, Soundview's going to have it in their budget. Will this come out of some of the other funding for the other organizations?
I don't know if Michaela has put that, Chris had put that into
I just didn't want to see a duplication the way we had talked about in
No,
other things.
I think that this one, if you look at, he's got it, they proposed another concert for the Osprey Festival, and I think he is going to initiate some of the initial funds just because it's being held at Soundview. Okay. So I don't think you will not see it in EDC, because she did not put anything in. But they will all be working together. Conservation, Gary Gregory went through and did his budget. He did not come to a meeting.
Obviously.
Yep, and that's okay. He does not have a lot of actuals, but I will say Gary has been doing a great job of bringing the Conservation Committee back into full mode.
And his clerk increased mainly because of the extra meetings?
Yes. 14 meetings, he's figuring at 175 each, so 12 normal and 2 specials. Then we go to open space. Mr. Foliano again came and spoke, open space, Greg came and spoke to us regarding his expenditures. And stewardship, they did increase stewardship a bit, just by $1,000. And file storage, other miscellaneous, etc. Okay. So I think he's up $500 overall. Public Works, we go through, and we had a nice long meeting with Ed.
There were not a lot of changes there. if I
There
remember.
were a few. I have notes. I would like to point out that beach cleaning is still something that we're going to have to discuss, and of how we're going to handle it and split. I do believe we had talked about the public works. It is I want to say it's the third line down on page number 12, where it said truck equipment rental, and I believe we asked to decrease that because it's never really been over. It's only been over 2,600 in 2021, so perhaps that could go down some.
Equipment leasing?
Equipment rental.
It had been called leasing.
Sorry. So if you would like to decrease that a bit, we could take $1,000 out. I think that would still leave him ample, or more if you so wish. Any thoughts?
My note was to bring it down to 2,000.
2,000?
I thought for some reason we had a discussion of 2,500 or 3,000 for that. Not that the change was made, but because 3.5 years ago it was 2,672, so we didn't want to put him in a position that we have a heavy winter or something and he had to rent. So
Bring it down to 3.
3?
From 5.
I would feel comfortable with that.
fine by me.
Okay. And then I think there were some concerns over his street light service line.
Well, the street side,
We were still working on that.
that is the Tanko that you have in yours, and that's why that wasn't changed, because I don't know,
There was
are we gonna go back to putting it in his and take it out of yours, or
It wasn't clear. so
He's
that's the
spending, so he is spending, he has spent $5,842 as of this year. And our bill from Tanko is $391 per month at this present time. So that does not quite add up, 391
Put
times
a
the number.
question mark by it.
I would question that there's something else going
And we
on.
may not have that answer tomorrow night, and I don't think that's what the goal is. I think this is a draft,
Yes,
correct?
we keep working on it. And then there's also streetlight service, which is also down below. So there's the electric, which is the electric service, literally the electric bill, and then there's streetlight service.
So we're looking into that contract, that's correct?
I know I've asked for
If we can do it in-house.
some
That was the
discussion.
discussion, correct?
We need a certain truck though, because you can't.
Or whether or not we were using Zelig. That was the other part of the conversation.
Yes, right.
Tree removal, that's obvious. So he increased that by 5,000.
The other one I know I had noted is his line for Public Works Electric, which he put in for 10,000, but
It seemed at 8,700 in 22-23, and rates aren't going down.
okay. And the next one too was the Public Works vehicle parts. I just had it in my notes that this was a question. Last year was 25, he spent 18, and he's asking for 30.
So you're saying vehicle parts? It's zero, right?
No, I see a $5,000 increase for parts.
Yeah, from 25 to 30.
Public Works, vehicle parts, duplicated account.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, so the first one is not there.
Right.
Okay.
Well, there was
And then
a
we
lot-
have equipment, and then we have, vehicle parts after vehicle equipment maintenance. Got it.
So I had in my notes too that you said it had never really gone over
25.
20,
23.
3, but that was many years ago. I know the trucks are aging, and I know there's an increased cost, but do we want to bump it up 5,000 or keep it at 25?
I don't have that's not significant to me because no matter what we budget, if it breaks, we're going to have to fix it. Either way is fine.
All right.
Martha, can we, I may have blanked out for a minute, if we could jump back up.
Sure.
Tree removal.
Yep. 25 to 30, or 30 to, what is it?
30 to 35.
Yep.
But I see our suggestion is 30, it's just flat.
So
He said that there was a lot more trees that he needs to get
So we
taken down.
recommended going to
And they-
35.
You want to go
okay,
30?
So
35.
we're still at 30.
Okay,
So
that's
we should
fine.
be going to 35.
That's fine.
And we were over in the past on tree removal. Whatever we budgeted, we are up.
I also think that there was miscellaneous supplies, and I think it's the right, wait a minute. Public Works miscellaneous supply and tools. That was another one where he had budgeted 4, and we suggested that it might go up considering he was already at 39.87, and the year before he spent 54. We discussed raising that. Does anyone object if we move that to 5?
No.
You with me on that, Anita?
Okay.
I think we're going to reduce special sand down to 15.
Special sand.
Yeah, partway down.
Wait.
Special water, WTR sand.
Yeah. Going from 20 down to 15.
Ever used. 15 looked like it had covered it in the past.
Okay. So we'll decrease that. There was also down at Public Works uniforms and mats that he had increased it to 6. And we haven't gone over 23. We did get a new contract with Cintas, and they seem very happy with it. Katie's not here at the moment, but
It is more money.
it is a little bit more money. That's
Yeah.
fine.
And we're almost at, I mean, these numbers are 3/12/31, even though we are in February. So they have probably used half of that 5,000 for this year,
True.
so 6
And
would be
this-
needed.
And our contract with Cintas didn't begin until November. So,
Yep, leave it.
okay. Parks and Rec, then we go into Don's budget.
Rick salary, forget it. And again, we will not discuss increasing hours or
Okay.
mileage probably makes sense based on the running around maybe. And it's at least half a year and they are already at it. And the rate for mileage has gone up. 67, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
67.
Since the last year.
7 or 67.5?
No, it's
675?
67, I already
Okay.
printed
No,
it
we
out.
all
Thank you.
checked it.
And I put it in the front of everybody you'll get in your books.
Thank you.
Yep. Postage, that's self-explanatory. Contracted services, Goose, that's if it's reinstated.
And he did go up because his actual, he increased last year too, with his counselors, and he brought in a higher revenue.
Yep. Telephone, that hasn't changed. Contracted services, bathroom, that's the same. I have a question though on contracted services, HP restroom, Haynes Park. Have we not paid any of that last year and this year under actuals?
Because that's the filling of the water tank, so
Yeah.
that takes place when they open it again
Okay.
in the spring.
But we didn't do it in 22, 23?
Yeah, that
Would have
been
done in May, so it would have been,
like April. or May.
Okay, so we missed that season and we won't do it in 20.
We'll do it in like April or May. It wouldn't happen in We already did it.
Well, if you look at it, it's very
No.
interesting, because he
But-
spent
But right here, it
But
says-
didn't we spend any in 2023?
Contracted services, HT, that one?
HP restroom.
HP
One year we
restroom.
spent
Didn't
74.
we fill it in April of 23?
HP restroom,
Zero.
contracted service, HP restroom, 2,500, management of system, estimate fill water tanks, pump maintenance.
We're looking more at the history,
Yeah,
Anita,
22,
where he hasn't
23 doesn't
spent.
have anything there, if you go across the line from left to right.
One year he spent,
I don't know, if maybe it was posted to a wrong account. Could
He
happen.
spent-
You don't know, but it just stands out in my mind. It's like, ooh, why?
We can-
Because this one is 7,000
Right.
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And then it was skipped.
we'll ask him tomorrow.
So that has a question.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that? Let's see, electricity.
We know what the internet did. Park and Rec. Electricity. Under repairs and maintenance, if less than half of the year had gone by and they're almost 4,000 out of 5,000, should we be cautious of that?
I will say that we probably should be a little cautious of that, because I understand there are 3 broken windows at Town Woods that need replacing.
Right, and this is for the first half of the year, and we've used 80% of it.
Yep.
Okay, because Town Woods is separate.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Park and Rec. Okay, thank you. Some lines, we know that story.
So we're going to increase this one?
I think so. I just put a question by it. I think
Here's the
it
maintenance.
should be looked at. I don't know how you want to
Okay.
handle that, if that's something they discuss tomorrow night.
Okay.
But they're going to ask these questions. Swim lines, we know what that is. Online registration, that's only 110. Cleaning. Is that going to be accurate too? Last year was almost $19,000. So
He
that's what he's
cleaning, he has facility cleaning, WSB, HP, and CL15.
Yep.
Mhm.
I just put a question mark by it because he's over in the previous year. And if
So he
he's
may
not
not have
asking for an
budgeted
increase
enough.
it doesn't make much sense. Programs, those pay for themselves. And that's the end of that.
Whoever's on the phone, please mute yourself. Electricity, equipment, field, and facility
On
replies.
Townwoods Park.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Supplies, repairs, maintenance. Again, that account could, look at how low that's been, and we've always overspent, so it may be time to increase.
You're on supply?
I was looking at repairs and maintenance for Townwoods Park.
I'm on Townwoods Park supplies.
Field and facility supplies, or just supplies?
I'm at the first line.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's 6 months through. But the actuals look, I mean, why are we budgeting 15 grand when it's 21, 22 actual was 34, 2021 was 18.
Well, I can tell you about that big year, because if you remember right,
Yeah, we bought fertilizers and things like
doubled,
that, right?
because
So I'm just going to put a question mark by it. I mean, have we depleted a lot of that? What are we facing? Non-contracted ground, actuals are way over, almost double, and we're still only asking for 3,000. That's another question.
Okay.
Okay, now you're in.
I'm sorry,
Maintenance?
no, I went down to,
Further?
I went,
That's right.
he did go up on his contract for his gatekeeper,
Yep,
because
that's-
it's got
we
it.
get it. Quarter toilets, we get that. Contracted HGO, 5,000. Real estate control. Okay.
Per the request from the Park and Rec.
Yep. Electricity, is that the one you were
I'm not worried about that one, although he has been over or close, well, last year was a little over.
And the year before.
Before was just close, so.
Okay.
And if it's for the irrigation system in the building, equipment, built. And I just had that, next to the last line, repairs and maintenance, only because in the last few years, it looks like it's gone up quite a bit.
It's way over, yeah.
Yeah.
So that needs to be explained or addressed. Maybe you figure Sarah Golson's going to do it.
Don't tell her like that. So, fireworks, we went up a little bit just in case of cost projections. Memorial Day pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah,
Emergency management, we met with Dave Roberge.
Sorry to jump back a little bit, Jude. I do see a note that under town woods repair and maintenance, there was a pump failure.
There's what?
A pump and a transformer failure.
Oh, okay.
A couple of years ago.
So that was
That was it.
That counts for that 15,000.
But the year before it was double.
62.
It was 62.9 on a 3,000. Well, I just think that if we're under budgeting, it's unrealistic. So, but who knows? They're not even halfway through this year. But as you said, who knows what sort of repairs after the winter.
And it seems like every year he's gone over.
Yeah, so we'll just do a question. It's cleaning, that makes sense because they covered all of last summer.
Anita, can I ask you a question? Are the actuals going to be able to be up to 131?
It's only February 5th.
I know.
So they may not have come in.
I didn't know. I was just asking.
I was working on that today.
That's okay.
That's
fine.
why she needs that clerk.
That's fine.
Right, me.
Okay, emergency management down at the bottom.
This is Dave's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he still here? He's
No.
not. He seems to want to put in every year another position or extra help, and I'm not, again, that's...
Are you looking for his part-time admin one?
Yeah.
Well, remember, he doesn't have one now. He had Kathy Hall. She was part-time for building and for emergency management when she retired.
So whatever hers was.
So when she retired, she was not replaced for him because Mark only got a part-time person.
Right.
And
so then that position is needed. But when we come to his other requests and his other job tasks, then I will have
he's got one of each.
Yeah.
He's got one of each.
I don't know which side gets it.
Yeah. Okay. No, one side. Yeah.
One.
Okay.
Board of Finance will ask this question.
Well, I just want you to realize he is doing that. Because Jude, in here it says 10 hours for emergency management, and he has 10 hours for fire marshal, which brings him to his 20 hours.
I guess I misspoke because he's also looking for a $5,000 for other labor help, which comes up every year.
And
and I have asked him, and I would like an answer.
That's
still.
the 4,000. If you see it, it still says need additional info.
So I will tell you that
I want to know his status on inspection.
Oh, well, I've asked him to update his book for me by March 1st, all of his list of inspections, and I have asked him for all of his inspection reports on those.
But because Board of Finance has asked for that for years.
Yes, well, I did.
Without
and I gave
any,
him.
And, yes.
And he is till March 1st to get it up, so that is his February project for me.
Good luck. I think we don't act on any of those requests until we get an answer from him on status.
Okay. See what happens.
Yep.
All right, and then we go to the next page, and he has his Zoom license renewal for because of emergency management, dues, telephone equipment.
And again, if you look on the column next to it, that was like what you discussed in your meeting.
Yep.
So if any changes, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
So do we pop back up to the first two lines, salaries and then reimbursable wages? Because we had a lengthy discussion on
I have my notes too.
salaries being reimbursable. And now it's going up to 12,000, but that the next line, the wages reimbursable, was a duplicate, essentially. That line was coming out.
Well, there was the 120,000, and that was the line that we took out, because that was a reimbursable.
The first one,
through-
if you look under in the white, in here, see it says 0, that was your suggestion, so they down there.
Okay.
Yep, right here,
so the
where it
first
says Board
one.
of Selectmen
So
suggestion.
we took the first one out.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you for that. Now it's important. Yeah, his part-time, he's requesting 17, almost 17.9, our suggestion.
Correct. And if any of those numbers change, I'll change them.
It'll be a longer conversation.
And over at his, you can see on his, we added the dams engineering inspection under him.
So
If you go to the next page.
this year, we just finished our emergency management plan for the Lower River Mill Pond Dam and also the Rogers Lake Dam. Those plans are in place, and now in October of '24, our engineers will be coming to inspect the dams. That is something that has to be done. I believe it's every 2 years. So when I contacted Jacobson for an estimate of what that would be done, and they said 6,000 will be fine to cover that.
On formatting, I have a suggestion. I love the column, Board of Finance. I know it sounds corny.
Make it color.
Could you please make it a color so it
Pick a
stands
color.
out from the rest of the
Yeah,
way?
I thought of it too.
Because it'll make, otherwise,
Any certain color?
I am, no, not green or blue, or a color that makes green or blue. How's that?
Okay.
Something obnoxious. So it stands out.
Well, don't say
Orange.
red, not
Yellow?
red, not
No,
red.
not red, but it doesn't, the eye doesn't see what the Board of Selectmen suggest.
No, that's why I mentioned
So
that
for
column.
tomorrow night, yeah, no,
And
we're
I
on the
will-
same
I
page.
will.
Otherwise, when they're looking at it,
And what I could
their
do,
eyes fall off.
I could do it in yellow, which will,
I think that's better, eye catching,
yeah.
and it's neutral. Thank you.
Okay.
Also, that new contracted services is a RiverCog local match where they have asked every community to put in $4,750 for all 15 towns. It's a match program, and I want to say it's hazard mitigation is what it's on.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's it.
So right.
Okay.
And they'll be working on that plan for the entire region.
The lower Connecticut River, yes.
Yes. Anything else under, and then Valley Shore is pretty much what their request is. Ambulance,
Yeah, Valley Shore, all we got is the letter they said approximately
Yeah.
before, we haven't gotten another one, or it'd be the same letter I had.
I think we'll have a discussion regarding staffing when we do the hours. There seems to be significant changes in moving around an ambulance.
Well, you'll notice they took out their full-time person.
Exactly.
And then added so that they could make sure that they cover their holidays and things.
Right.
Got it.
Yes, because last year they wanted a full-time and they decided to stick with part-time.
Yep. Okay. Glad that came out. And we did not make a recommendation?
We did not
for
meet with
ambulance
them.
Because we haven't talked to them,
Right.
correct?
Yeah, Jane was away.
So that's sort of, we can't have an opinion on that. Okay.
And then I think we go to animal control. And Jude, I know that you were her specialist, and I do want you to know that I think we've worked really hard with Lynn to capture the vet bills more accurately, and then they can be paid out. But we don't want to have vet bills outstanding so that when we're looking for people. So I think she's done a really great job of putting that together with Anita's help.
Thank you, Anita. Well, they will see a big change there. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to see her revenue is going to increase too.
I realize that. To start offering cocktails for these
I will.
meetings.
I will. Oh, come on. You wanted food, and I got you food.
Oh.
I should have brought snacks. I'm sorry.
No, I don't need snacks.
Okay.
It's dry here after a while.
It does. There's water right outside, though, if you want to go grab a cup.
Thank you.
For something to bathe in, Martha, Chessman, and drink.
Okay, so if we look at Old Lyme Fire Department, we had a very thorough conversation with them, except for their capital, which they will bring the night we do capital. I just want to go right back up to animal control, just so that you know that we are having a mouse problem. Mice, I should say.
She doesn't have enough cats out of the cage. And I'm also told a snake would have them.
Really? Well, it's up in the attic.
I was at a house inspection. Oh, no, you need somebody.
So,
And it's
No, it's an infestation.
It's an infestation. They've gotten 14 so far.
Yep.
I had a meeting with Eric and Lynn this morning. We're going to have to remove the current insulation. We are going to, first we take, so the steps are get rid of the mice.
Yep.
Then take out the insulation.
No, she explained that
We're
to me
going
a
to
while
blow
ago.
it
and
in,
it's a
blow
lot of
new
money.
insulation in.
Yep.
And we have to fix the, I'm going to forget the word.
I want to say we've got a little $12,000 and it's in capital.
Yep.
I've already put it in.
Yep. And she knew about it.
Yeah, I want to
And
say
the
She was
shed.
surprised it was
11,
that much,
150,
but it's,
something like
that's
12.
what it takes.
And they're suggesting that she have a shed for storage so that the dog kennels are not used for storage.
Yep.
And things like that. So, and Eric's got a deal on a shed, so, good. We can see, but that may have to come before the budget of July 1st, because, the problem's there. It's a health issue.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, fire department, we went through pretty thoroughly with them. I did not have any major changes on that.
I wouldn't even begin to question it. That's something Andy is very good at and Grub used to take care of. And I think metals, and so I feel safe with them. Fire marshal.
I really feel that the part-time fire inspector is not necessary. I think that he should be able to do.
I think originally in 2022,
It was when to catch up.
he was supposed to catch up, and I don't get the impression he's ever going to catch up, caught up as much as I'd like Dave Roberge. And the intention that $5,000 was approved was not to have it be an ongoing.
Oh, I thought it was like when he was on vacation that he was back.
No, it depends on who you talk to.
Okay. Believe me, we could always find fire marshals from the surrounding town if we needed
For 5
someone.
days.
For 5 days to fill in.
So
Or
am I putting it as zeros?
I recommend we put it down as 0 because I think Board of Finance is going to kick it back down and ask him if he was caught up, why he needs more.
So, right, I'll change it.
He's not going to be happy with it.
And then he's, other admin.
And this is the other half where he has the other admin.
Yep, I saw that.
We saw that.
We did have some changes on software and mileage, which I'm fine with changing those.
I think the Board of Selectmen suggestions, those reflect what we spoke about at the meeting, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
He may not agree with that, but that's what I think we advised.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
The changes to software, legal, all those things were things we had discussed with him.
Yes.
And then the column of Board of Selectmen suggestions, those are our current suggestions unless you have new information.
I have no new information, but I believe that the suggestions that we made during our meeting with him, that those are the ones that should stand and be moved to.
Okay.
And be the solid ones moving forward unless Jim feels differently.
Yeah, or unless there's some software we don't
More or
know.
less agreed with them. I mean, I don't remember a big
Yeah, I'm not.
disagreement. It's like, yeah, we could reduce this, or
Yeah, I don't think it was very scientific or analytically arrived at. I think it was like, okay, as Jim said.
We never really got an answer to the fire marshal technology question. We said what is not, it was just bid budget. It is what is not reimbursed. It's never, well, it's gone on a few years, but
It was 422.23 actual. So maybe
and he
we
hasn't
just
spent
leave it
any.
in as
And he
question.
hasn't spent any as of this year.
So just leave the
I
question.
like the question.
Okay.
Okay. And then emergency service incentive plan, we really don't have anything to say about that. Resident state police contract staying the same. Those numbers are the same. Municipal police, we did meet with the police department as well, and we did not make any changes that particular day unless someone had something in their notes to otherwise.
I didn't have anything.
I don't think so. I didn't have any. He's coming. Matt will be coming to the meeting, I take it? Okay.
Yes, he will.
And he will show.
So do you want me to just bring his numbers over for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure that Dominic and then some of the other crew will be here as well. Social services, we talked to Amy Bonatti. Those are pretty standard requests. Lyme Youth Services, we talked to Mary. She did not go up on her request.
Her grants are good, she said.
The social service agencies, these are letters that we received for their letter request.
That's never an issue.
Okay, well, one went away because they're no longer applying. And so that we did a regional there.
At sexual assault here, requested is 1332, and 300 in the past.
Yeah, her letter date,
Per client.
she has sexual assault. She basically, in her letter, was like, she didn't specify, but she said, providing crisis response and trauma recovery to 3 residents of the town of Old Lyme at approximately a cost of $13.32 per client. So she's actually spending almost $4,000.
Yeah, I see that. So they'd like us to chip in, which they should.
So we were giving them 3. So this is just giving them $13.32 would be enough for 1 client.
Wow.
So she didn't specify.
Well, why
I mean,
did
if
she
you
say
wanted to-
times 3 then?
So,
she said the represent an expense of approximately
maybe that was a mistake.
$39.96 to provide services to the residents of Old Lyme.
Also, it looks like the 2 above, 2 have gone.
Yes.
Rushford is left.
Regional-
Regional mental health left. So
Regional
that's
grouped into something else now.
Okay.
It went into a larger, and Rushford I guess there's no more of it.
Really?
I got an email from Mary.
Mary Seidner.
Saying it no longer exists, huh? I'm surprised. I don't have a problem with any of those. We always try to be generous on their requests.
Yep. Anita, I did want to say in the Old Lyme Visiting Nurse Association, you have a note saying that budget submitted 23-24. I think she just forgot to change her title.
The date on it?
Oh, okay.
I think that was what she did because Cynthia did reach out, because I reached out to her when you said you didn't have it. She said, I'm working on it tonight. And then the next day she sent it.
Oh, okay, all right.
So she probably went through.
Okay. We'll
So-
take that.
It sounds like it.
But
All
you
right.
could email her back if you want to feel more comfortable about it and just check. All right, River Valley Transit, their request is in.
That has not changed much.
Estuary Nutrition System.
That
right.
went up, but that's not
This is what-
unexpected food cost of increase.
This is what I have from her, so.
For what? For estuary?
No, from visiting nurse right there.
That's fine.
But it says 23-24 on top.
Yeah, you think she didn't change it. Wait a minute.
I'm not surprised because they went down, they dropped a lot last year, and then they usually hold steady, as you can see.
I think that we should I'll email her tomorrow and just make sure that
Yeah, I
it's
can reach out.
Say, Cindy,
misprint.
this way you
Because
remember.
I would assume, because her columns on that.
I put names next to them.
She's
Yeah,
a
that's what I
few
have.
doors down if you want to go for a walk.
Okay.
Kidding.
Then we went to
Yeah, exactly. Super nice woman.
Senior Center.
Estuary Services, we have that. Senior Center.
Starts on page 20.
Do we know why it's gone up? Oh, this is landscaping senior center?
No, that's gone down.
No, I see that, but am I missing a page?
I'm on page 20. 20?
19, and then I'm missing 20. Where is it?
Did you go backwards?
Nope, I don't have page 20. No, I got it. It's upside down. Yep, I'm good.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it just flips upside down. You mean it doesn't collate and flip and skip for you? If you're going to order a machine.
We can do
No,
it.
we had to flip them. It was
Okay.
You say,
So-
this one's for Jude.
All right, so we totally random.
Okay.
Senior Center.
Director, we can't do any of those.
she did send the letter.
She did
Senior Center,
increase.
She did.
Yeah, but Stephanie came and talked to us. We had
yes,
a
she
long
did,
conversation with her. So of course her mileage has gone up more because now the two of them are
She's all over
traveling.
the place.
Yeah.
Office supplies is pretty much the same. Postage has gone up a little due to the newsletter cost.
However, I did get an email asking if we would like to, as a member, would I like to go paperless? And that came out a few days after our meeting.
Oh, okay.
And they acted on it immediately. Unfortunately, it wasn't soon enough for the February mailing, but I'll let you know. So hopefully
That's great.
that cost will change.
I can ask her how many responses she got. That'd be
Which
pretty
is
great.
But we should let her know that it was
Okay. And then,
acknowledged.
of course, her rental fees are going up on this year because she'll be out
Are
of
you
the
saying
building.
contracted services?
Yes.
Is that where we are?
Yep.
Understood.
No cleaning. Events.
That's the same. Snow plowing, of course, that one isn't needed.
Down.
Well, she just thought because they said a year, so she wasn't sure.
No, I
when
said, no, it's fine.
No, that's fine.
Miscellaneous other.
I have
What
a
is
note, I have a note that
training?
we were reducing that to 500.
Say that again, the
I have a note that
miscellaneous?
we were reducing senior center miscellaneous
To
other.
500,
Yeah,
yes.
that's,
That's not reflected in the.
yeah, that should be 1,000 instead of 1,500.
Which one?
Senior center miscellaneous / other, under
I have-
snow plow.
Okay.
I have
Okay.
$500.
500?
Yeah, so I
Yep.
have none.
Right.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then,
and electricity is the next one. We've changed to 14,000, down from 18,000.
Because
To what, Jim?
14,
Yeah. And maintenance shouldn't be any for half a year, right? Okay. Just that.
wait a minute. Oh, okay. So heating, propane, the alarm has to stay on, and senior center landscaping, and that's it? That's it? Well, that's fine.
No, you have to do nonprofit.
Oh, nonprofit,
I was going to
sorry.
say, I don't
And what about
remember seeing
recycling?
any not-for-profit.
You have to do recycling?
Yeah, that's, recycling and all that is not for the pain of heart. Where is it?
Okay, well, let's go to page 21, and we can get to, we're not going to worry about the transfer out,
No.
but we'll go to the middle of the page, the nonprofits.
Okay, are we doing okay, this is reval, sanitation, recycling, all those?
No,
No?
we first have
This
to
is
do.
transfer out.
Are you on
11.
21?
11.
Is that 21?
It says 20.
Yep, to 11.
Okay, great, thank you.
So we mapped,
Nonprofits for beaches. We heard from the library.
right, yep. The
The
others sent letters.
Okay, I have a comment on a couple of these. I reviewed them before I
Yep.
came. The Academy of Fine Arts, I have no problem. We've increased them to 20 a while ago. The Florence Griswold Museum, they are requesting 15,
15,480.
and their actual last year was 15. Okay. What's the 480? Why they want a 400? That I'm just like, why?
Did Matt Struckel, he sent a letter?
Yes. The Florence Griswold Museum respectfully requests an appropriation of $15,480 for the Town of Gold Line 24-25 fiscal term. Our official budget request was submitted in December, but we wanted to provide further context to the request and highlight the plans to serve the Old Line community ahead.
Because they got 15 last year, and that was an increase from 12.5, so I didn't know why.
He's putting a world-class exhibition of local interests, fun and games, Leo Jensen pop art colony to Connecticut collections beginning February 2024. Impressionism, 150.
Yeah, I get all these.
So there's no specific $480. We need 480 because of this.
They had wanted money for capital.
150 last year for 3 years, 50
50 for 3 years. Okay. I don't know why they increased to 480, and so I don't care if we present 15 or 15,480, but not having an answer on that, and I think it was a stretch for Board of Finance to go from 12.5 to 15.
I suggest 15.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. And then, but moving down one to the Lime Art Association.
Okay.
They have been flatlined forever. And we are giving increases to the library. We are considering, and we just did not, we gave the Flo Grizz a $2,500 increase last year. The Historical Society, I have advocated for it, and they've had increases last year from $7,500 to $8,500. I'm advocating for an increase to the Lime Art Association based on need and the fact that they are struggling and keeping the place renovated and updated, similarly to what the
So what would you like to do?
Historical Society had done in the past. I would like to see them up to $9,000.
I was going to say cash.
Well, you can say whatever you want, but I see that in the past, say the Historical Society, we gave them a $1,000
Okay.
bump at a
All right.
time.
Okay.
So I
9.
think 9 would be.
Jim, are you good with that?
I'm okay.
Okay, Historical Society flatlined from last year.
Yeah, because
Troy Peterson
they
went
were
up
increased
to
last year.
13.
That I have mixed feelings on, but they're a new organization starting out, so I'm okay with the 13, but I don't want to see that it's expected, a significant increase like that. That's 30%
Did
in 1
Alicia,
year.
in her request, say anything
And I
specific?
love them, but
Tori Peterson.
they had 1 year at 10, and then another year at 10, and they're going up 30%. So compared to the other non-for-profits, it's a lot.
The RTPEC has grown steadily and deliberately introducing new programs, opportunities for the students and adults in the community. This year we were requesting $13,000 from the town of Oline to help support experimental education community programs. At RTPEC, we have grown our education programs from reaching 35 students to this year to an estimate number we will increase to 6,000. Our thoughtful design experiential programs convey the interconnectedness of humans, wildlife, and natural world, emphasizing the scientific process through the exploration of local ecosystems.
Okay. Do you need more?
I don't need more.
I mean, I like it if they have a specific paragraph and say, this is why we went up.
No, they have many.
Okay. So my thought would be, if we're going to only give 1,000 more to Lime Art Association, then maybe we only give 1,000 more to Tori Peterson.
Fine with that?
11.
Jim, are you good if we go from 10 to 11 on that?
So their request was for 13.
Yes, 30
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have a conversation with them because they are powering up right now. They're new.
And I think that's why we gave them the original amount. I have no problems with that, the same way we did the Art Academy.
Yeah, the Art Academy, I mean, it's a known, field that they're working in.
Well, they're also providing educational programs for free. I don't have a problem with the $13,000 request, but I think you might get some pushback. And we should expect it.
I'm happy to call Alicia tomorrow and give us more.
A little, some specifics from
All right, so
Peterson would help us.
if we look at the private beach associations, as you know, Scott Bellinger and others were here to discuss their increase of 71 from 71.7. It's been consistent along the board. And Anita did some figuring today and has some information for you on that. I believe you said if we increased.
Yes. This year it's because next year we do have one other coming on that the HNB is sent a letter. They'd like to participate next year. Basically, if I took the numbers of their budget, and it has to do with their security measures. Some
Is
do.
that BJ's recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Some of the beaches have additional, MBA have additional services, and so does WSG. But if we took 50% of their budgets and went about 95, you're going to pretty much cover it because there's a new one joining
If we
this
went
year.
to 95,000, is that what you said?
Yeah, it would be.
I don't think that is a terrible ask. I'm not as familiar with the formula as BJ is and what we talked about.
Right, and they might want to change the formula of like how to calculate it, but I think it should pretty much cover 50% of their security.
Also, I realize this only goes back to the budget of 2021, and I can't recall from BJ. Are we talking the formula going back? Was the 71,700 as far back as 2014?
2014.
Right. So that's 10 years.
Evenly among all the beaches.
Exactly, and I remember that part.
Prior to that, it had been in the 50s.
It's small.
And then
That's the spreadsheet.
Okay, I thought it was, but I just wanted to confirm it had not increased in 10 years.
Right, and then the other half was the cost of a police officer.
Exactly.
The cost of the town of a police officer.
Yep.
Which has
And then a portion according to the number of houses within each association.
So all those things have changed over 10 years,
And you can't
obviously.
exceed 50% of your
Well,
security costs.
Right, and I do know that, like, it says the MBA, we give them trash. And then
because
you
it's
give,
more public and.
They're
I think it's warranted, whether.
so I mean, if they want to change the formula, but I mean.
Well, the formula we can work on,
Right.
we're only worried about the line, and then DJ has this formula that he
Yeah, that he wants to work on, yeah.
That's
So
fine.
if we increase the top line, basically everyone gets
Everybody gets a
Everybody get it.
proportional.
Yeah, and like I said, we have one more coming on, so
But
if it was
that's not in 24, 25, it's after that?
24, 25, that's
It
coming.
is.
Hawks Nest Beach is
Yeah.
coming back on.
Funny.
But they would be dipping into the existing pot, right?
Correct.
It wouldn't be increasing.
No, whatever you create the pot
Well,
to,
she has
they'll all-
5,200. She wanted it for 24. And we don't have the line item, but she's not saying that she's coming back on. She's coming back on now.
I'm talking about that's what they're.
Yeah, for 24, for the next year.
So we don't have her,
There's no amount
there's no
here.
amount on her line.
Yeah.
So that would have to
Right,
be
but-
figured into the calculation.
Right, I took her number, they sent me some paperwork for this year.
Right.
For the coming year.
What I'm saying though is there was nothing on her request line. So if we just say that we're comfortable moving to 95 and then the figuring out of what's what has to be done through the formula.
They may want more detail or clarification before they arrive at a number for the budget. I don't know, but at least it would show that we're being proactive.
So I think, can we go that we would suggest raising it to 95 and then let them go? Because they can cut it. They can cut it if they want to. That's their prerogative. That's what the Board of Finance prerogative is.
I mean, what might happen here is if Hawks Nest comes in as a full participating entity, the overall appropriations to each of the other.
It's gonna go up about
They
3,000.
may go down to each of, they may get a cut.
They might get 48% instead of the 50,
Right.
you know, I mean, I don't know if you wanna go to 100 and let them go from there, because
So I think a discussion would have to be had about
I do too,
why
because that's
Hawks Nest now.
that's another
comes in.
part of the equation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not.
They
Not that
originally-
they shouldn't, I'm not.
they
No, I
were
agree.
there.
Prejudging it, but.
No,
yeah.
But originally they were there, and I
Right.
guess the last couple of years they haven't
Right.
submitted any paperwork.
Because of the fact that I believe that the Garvins were covering some things and they
Yeah,
didn't
and
have
one of
the
the Board of
expenses.
Finance people who was an elected official would be making that decision, and rather than dealing with it and abstaining, they just bowed out.
Okay,
And now he's not on the board.
okay,
So they would probably like to come back in.
okay.
Okay.
So then maybe we make it 100, Jim, and see if that makes it that the other associations do not lose any money or percentage that way.
I haven't really crunched numbers.
I haven't
Yeah,
crunched them at all, but I think we are.
Well, I
unless
think
we-
there's also, remember, there's a discussion to change the formula a bit too.
Yeah, so it can be, to be determined, and Board of Finance may say between now and budget approval, this needs to remain open.
I mean, Anita did crunch the numbers. I mean, that's-
Oh, yeah, no, she
that's
did,
a
I
real-
mean,
That's a real
we,
number.
right,
So.
but BJ's
I'd
got
be very
the
comfortable approving that.
100,
The 91 that she mentioned.
95.
90,
We were saying about 95, yeah.
95, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's suggest that and
And
then,
then if we find that the other associations are getting cuts, I mean, especially I'm most familiar with Miami. They
Of course.
take the brunt of a lot of the public beach, public,
yeah.
Yep.
use. So if they get a cut, I wouldn't.
No, that would be, they'll be held to pay for that one.
Okay.
I just wanted to be noted that we are mindful of that, and we realize it's going to have to be adjusted.
Yeah, we may need to review
Okay.
the formulas in the future.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
And then recycling and sanitation, which is per contract.
Right, but the only thing I didn't know, because he didn't tell me where it comes from, or where he puts it in. It did come up after he did talk to everybody, and he gave me this piece of paper, and he said,
We have a
log brush was gonna be another.
No, wait, that's not under this.
I don't know what it is, that's what I'm asking. I had
She
it with
doesn't know where it
recycling,
goes.
sanitation.
Oh, that is,
What's log brush?
that's what we pay for chipping fees at the transfer station.
Okay, so that goes.
So that,
Okay, so that's in that group.
well, the first three are our, the first
Okay.
three, recycling and sanitation, are our garbage. That's our contract with CWPM.
Right,
So those are contractual.
okay.
Then you go to recycling, and those are things that we work,
Okay, so it's a log brush.
sorry, I'm just throwing for a group. Then we go to, when you get to transfer station,
Okay.
That's where the brush comes into play.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
You haven't done all these field trips?
No, I gotta take
The
her.
dump? Come on.
Oh, wait,
They're really nice.
They are the best.
He is the nicest man.
The recycling committee expenditures, which is Mary Ellen Basham, recycling all items, etc. And then we have the hazardous household waste fees from Rivercog. They put in their request.
Yeah, we just
Household activity. And then we have transfer station wages, contracted services, and that's why Ruggs, Blackburn, exterminating, he doesn't have it in there. So that would have been one of his contracted services, unless he puts it under, I can't read what goes beyond here.
Which one?
It says transfers contract,
Okay.
it's 011-001, it says landfill something.
Oh, landfill.
Yeah, and then,
Well, it's under transfer station. Transfer station, contracted services, landfill.
That's the landfill. That's the landfill that we talked about?
Right.
Maintenance, or what is it, or that?
They have to go in every year and check the gases on it. So that is our gas, to study the gases until they can close out the landfill.
okay, they have to test and evaluate, okay.
But the brush one, I would think, would have gone under his contracted services. He has everything else there, but he didn't have he just came in the other day about the brush.
Yes.
So we may need to check with him, because I think that would go under his contracted services. And I don't think he had added that in.
No, he did not, because he came with that after.
Yes. Okay.
So to increase the contracted services?
Well, I want to talk
We
to
have a
him.
question on it.
He'll
Okay.
be here to see me tomorrow. I know he will. So,
Okay.
all right. So, Anita, you will be so kind to change some of these numbers out for us tomorrow,
Yes.
and then we will have the pages put in.
And then the only thing, as you see under debt services, because we are unsure of the senior center and when are we, if we're bonding, if we're not, what we're doing, I did put just a number in there as a placeholder so we would have something. Also, one of the payments you'll see off to the side, that will be the last year's payment for it, so that will go away the following year. But next year we will have that increase.
Right. Okay. And sewers. Okay. So we will send this to the Board of Finance with those changes. We will go under capital, into more detail with capital in our meeting later on this month, which I know is a morning meeting, but we will have more updated information because we are consistently looking at, as Mr. Kelsey asked us for, please get in all the projects that you think are going to be needed. Of course. So there's Eric has put together a wonderful list, which I've asked him to sort of prioritize so that I can give it to the Board of Finance tomorrow night as to say, this can't go another year, like if it's a roof or something like that.
So we'll get a copy of that list as well
Yes,
tomorrow night.
we will.
And also what is on there is everything everybody has given me.
No, you're right. You're doing great.
You're doing a great job. There's some things we can't act on yet, and there's some things that still have to be determined.
Oh, it's amazing. 99% of what we talked about over hours and hours and hours is reflected in the new budget. So really.
No, you've done
You've done a great job.
Thank you.
Great job. All right. The last thing on our agenda is general discussion. Anything that you have, and there was one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, is that the University of Connecticut has asked if we'd be interested in participating in the graduate internship program. This would be a summer intern working with us on public policy, reviewing our public policy and going through it. updating it to state statutes. It's a cost. We're not even assured that we would get one.
Who would the intern be working with?
They would be under my direction, but would be working perhaps with town clerk's office and on a project regarding public policy in our town.
Okay, do we have a project for that?
Oh, we do. We have policies. We need equal opportunity employment. We need to pull some of our policies. As I went in to talk to Vicki today, and she said, I would love it if all of our policies could be pulled together, made sure they're up to state statutes, and all in one book like our ordinances are. Okay. So this is a cost of $17,000. They're figuring 585 hours from August to May. And this person would work for, like I said, 585 hours. We would opt in by February 16th, and then we'd have to let them know that we're interested by February 16th. Then we would submit an internship job application description by February 29th. Then UConn sends it out to their students by March 22nd. Students have between, we would start to interview between March 25th and April 12th and decide if we find a match, and then you send them an offer letter. They, of course, are also interviewing at other sites as well.
So the $17,000 you quoted, that does or does not cover their salary?
It does.
It does?
Oh, yes. Okay. For 585 hours.
I have no issue with that. It'd be good for both parties. So
I think we would get something out of it. And this is and it's a grad student. It's not an undergrad. So if it's something that you care to explore, what I would do is just do the opt-in survey, which will it doesn't guarantee us anything. It doesn't cost us anything. Tells them that we're interested, and then we can get more information as we move on, and we can have more of a discussion and an approval of this once I get more after I opt in.
Okay.
The possibility.
I don't. Sure. It's a win-win.
Anything else?
I wanted to bring up, and this is very preliminary. I don't talk to anybody about this, but about a public safety committee that would, because we've had the.
You're connected.
Sorry.
I meant you're connected to your microphone.
We've had the break-ins in cars. People complained about speeding. And on the record, I think the police are doing a phenomenal job. This isn't any reflection on them. They're doing a great job. One thing that I have noticed is a lot of people are just like, what's going on? So there's a kind of an unknown, and then the rumors begin. It's like, how serious is the crime problem in town? People don't know. So one proposal, and I don't know if the police have time for this even, is to get a representative from each section of town, 4 or 5 people that would represent, someone from Solane, someone from 4 Miles, someone from Beaches, to get together once a month with the resident state trooper or one of his appointees, where they would say, this is what we're seeing in our neighborhood. And the police would say, oh yeah, we're aware of that, or oh really, I didn't, and even where the neighbors would, the 2 representatives from different parts say, oh, I've seen that person, one time I caught a drug dealer. He was an average-looking kid on a bike, and just because I observed him at weird times of the day, and so 2 people could pick out a trend. Not
like a neighborhood watch.
Yeah,
watch.
and that wouldn't be vigilantism. That wouldn't be, that would all be sort of under the supervision of the state trooper. I don't know if it would be helpful or not, but it may dispel some of the rumors that come up. There are crime waves. They really aren't. There really isn't that huge of a problem, but we do have issues. So I thought maybe that would be a way of addressing it.
I agree with you. I'm hearing almost daily complaints from different parts of the town about speeding. I hear complaints, and I understand why the digital signs went up about lock your cars. Those upset a lot of people, believe it or not.
I think it is important, though.
I think
as someone who spent time in New York, I'm shocked by people not locking their cars.
Well, that's it. That's but a number of business people said putting that out there is bad for business. They did not like that look. But I do like the the digital signs, that this is your speed, I think they should be daily around town. They should be somewhere all the time. They should not be sitting in a garage somewhere or a warehouse.
I think we only have one.
Yeah, well, it should be out there.
And
It's
moves
effective.
around. He moves it around.
It is effective,
I think
and I agree
it
with
was
you.
on Sill Lane,
Yeah.
so.
Sill Lane and Mile Creek, I agree with
Right
you,
now.
and maybe we have a conversation with different entities, whether it's the police or neighborhoods or associations, and ask for input on how to develop a plan if there's one to be had.
I did have one other item to discuss with you, just that we had a request from a person on Smith Neck Road for a streetlight, and they said that the pole had been taken down and the streetlight had been removed. But going through Tanco and doing our research on where we did not have a light on that particular pole.
I think you had mentioned that.
And so
Is it halfway down?
it's
Is it
all the way
far
down.
end?
It's right near the Deep Landing. So
Yeah.
the person also contacted Deep. Deep said, we don't have a light down there, and we didn't really want one. I also talked to Suzanne Thompson, who says this really comes under that Gateway Committee, and of course it's close to the water, and we're trying low lighting.
Do you think maybe a property owner at a property down there, like the very last one, Camp whatever it used to be, may have had a private one, and that property has changed hands?
She said it was on the pole.
Well, it could have been on a pole in someone's yard.
Possibly. So I went down there at night to check it. Dave Roberge went down. Michelle Hayes went through Tanco. She verified it hadn't been there. We
Is
also...
it a safety issue this person is
I
complaining
did
about?
talk to Mr. Weber, who told me that there have been no calls from that area.
Maybe a polite letter explaining the history?
So to put one up would cost us about $3,000 with, again, adding service charges to our regular contract, because we'd have another light. My thought at the moment was that we cannot prove that it was there unless she had a picture or something that should prove otherwise. But Tanco has no lighting. Dave, Ed, and Ed, he knows every light in the town.
I was going to sort of put it back in her lap, we would like to accommodate, but without any sort of history or proof, it's hard for us to pursue this. You have a photograph or a snapshot, we'd be happy to take a look at it and resubmit.
Yeah.
Or if it were a safety issue,
Right.
Okay. There used to be a light very close to the platform down there, which wasn't a street light, but a light on a pole. And it wasn't illuminating the parking lot.
Down closer to the water?
Yep.
I did not see that.
I'm saying it used to be. I don't think it's there anymore. So maybe somebody's confused.
And Dave said that at one point there was a millstone meter or something on one of the poles, which would have had a green light on the bottom of it, but he said it would not have.
Is this a long-time resident?
I believe so, yeah. Okay. So I just wanted you both to be aware that we're doing our due diligence, we're checking things out, and we will do anything else. Anything else under general discussion?
Okay,
Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn at 8:48?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.